things on the microphone, and then boom.
With Jason Ros.
No, he didn't. Yes, he did.
Call or text at 916-339-1140.
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason.
Interesting.
I thought you were doing a horn or something.
That's supposed to be applause. Let me see here. As I mess around with this board. I love the board I have at my house because I can do fun stuff with it. Let's see. What about when you, every once in a while, you'll come on the show and say something in the middle of a whatever, and it's, you get that?
Is it squeaking?
It's a record scratch. Right.
No way, that's a record scratch.
Really? Wait, what if
it sounds like you have a new pair of shoes and you're like walking, you're like, ah, crap, these are the shoes that squeak.
Let's see if I mute my mic, if it makes a difference. Does that make a difference?
I mean, like, I get where they want it to be a record scratch.
Let's see. A lot of times when I'm talking about my kids, the audience is, can you hear the crickets?
Yeah, if you can call them crickets.
Yeah, that's those are weak crickets. If we want to go back in time, I remember on the night show. That work? No.
It's just a ching.
Funny jokes. Huh?
Okay.
God, what the hell? Let's see if my voice stuff works though. Good morning, everybody. We're just screwing around. Sorry. All right, let's see. Here's effect one.
Hello. Hi.
Attention, everybody. We're screwing around.
Okay, that's not what I like.
Okay, hold on.
I'm a monster. No. I hate this one. I hate this one too. Oh, if I say a bad word. And wait. Mm-hmm. Okay, how do I turn it off?
How do I turn this off? Let me see. Hold on. Is it this button?
Hi. Okay, good morning. We're here.
Oh, wait, turn off the voice modulator.
I see what you did. What does it say? Ducking. What is ducking? Is that ducking? I press it. Doesn't do anything. Okay. I know that if I get upset today and I get really tired of these audience members that keep in the chat, then I'm gonna. Okay, so that works. Peg says whack soundboard. Homie, good morning, all. Hello, Jason. I told you this on Friday that Jason was gone Friday. That there was a chance, not a good one, but there was a chance that that Jason would be taking Tuesday off as well, which is today, and it turns out that chance happened. So congratulations.
Oh, I'm Jason. I concentrate on having a very good life and work balance.
Yeah, exactly. What's that all about? So he's off today, and this is true. I think. Well, I don't know how it works in other workplaces. I've pretty much only known this one, but I would imagine that in many, it's like, oh, dude, are you taking today? Oh, you're taking that day off. Jason and I kind of have, I don't know. Do you ever, growing up, Chris, a lot of times with my friends, we would always haggle over like whose part of the bill was what when we eat, or you didn't pay enough. And then as we got older, now it's like with the friends I always travel with, not real arguments, but it's always like, okay, I got this. No, I got, like, we're arguing over who pays the bill, but in the opposite way, where we want to take care of it. No, they, okay. And I think that's
except for one recently when there's a group of us that went out and I'm like, I'm not really hungry. I'll have a couple drinks or whatever. And like, I made a point of like, oh, hey, Chris, go ahead and grab this. Hey, Chris, go ahead and grab this. I'm like, oh, I'm good. And then when the bill comes, it was like, all right, let's just all split this equally. And I'm like, no.
No, that's weak. That's one of the big reasons I'm really glad I don't drink is I feel like that would get, like, food is easy. Like, oh, I got this burger and fries and whatever. It's $12.95. Add this, add that. Okay, I'm gonna throw 20. I'm gonna throw 20, which should probably count, depending on how many people are there. It should count, the food and then my tax, tip, whatever. Maybe 22. But I feel like with drinking, God, I've seen some of these like, I'm not trying to throw my wife under the bus, but she just happens to be the one that drinks between. So we went to this bar in Seattle once, or near Seattle, and we were watching football.
Gross.
I know, we were watching football, and the whole point of this place was they were famous for their like massive, like truck-sized Bloody Marys. One of those places where you get
where it's like half, like it's a meal on top of it.
Literally, she got, I mean, I'm not joking, she got like 3 giant Gulf shrimp, a slider with bacon in it, a couple of pieces of candied like it was literally, you have to, a piece of steak, like it's a whole meal. So that's how it started. And then, during the course of the games, we stayed for the morning and afternoon games. We were there a long time. And, I have whatever breakfast I ordered. And then I don't know what I was drinking, but it was non-alcoholic. And the bill comes and I'm thinking, it's like 50. So it's like $120. And I just look down and it's like $8 beer, $7 beer, $8 beer, whatever. I feel like that would get really confusing in a group of like 4 or 5 friends where you just don't know what the hell your bill is. I've never had to deal with that.
Good for you.
Thank you. Now, where was I? We were talking about, where was I? I had a point I had to make. So anyways, I think I was talking about Jason. So with Jason and I, we don't ever argue about anything, truly. But it's always, Jason, take more time off. Jason, you take the day off. And he does sometimes, but this is like one of those times where it's really important for him to take time off. If it was up to me, he'd have the whole week off because he doesn't get, he doesn't get time off because.
And everyone thinks about like, oh, it's the King season. But like coming up pretty soon is going to be college football, which
that's right.
He does every Saturday.
Every single Saturday. And by the way, it's every single Saturday, but it's not just Saturday. It's also a lot of times it's traveling on Friday. He'll get back Sunday night and then it's right back in. That's fine. We all work hard. It's great. Whatever. But so you notice my wonderful studio backing here, which is the zipper to my gazebo. So anyways, I got a call from him yesterday and it just worked out better to do today, which is amazing. And then I was sitting there last night and I was like, okay, cool, no problem, absolutely do the show. Me, Chris, no problem, I'll do it from out here, that's fine. Got the mic, got the equipment. And then I started thinking, I was like, oh God, what are we going to talk about today? It's 4 hours, no problem. But it's also All-Star week. And I want to say this is the first time I've worked a Monday after All-Star break. Honestly, I can't remember. It's been a long time. So we're going to stretch our legs a little bit this week. As of right now, haven't even booked any guests because today would normally be the day that Sean Salisbury would be on. But Sean's last show was last week. So I'm toying with the idea, as Chris saw on the rundown earlier. I'm toying with the idea of booking somebody in the 9 a.m. But I reserve the right to book somebody even earlier than that, or depending on the conversation goes with everybody, we may just run this whole thing through. It's not like we don't have things to talk about. It's just going to be more of a general conversation today. For example, I want to get into it. Every time around this year revolves around a couple of sports that I can't get into, and one I blame myself for, and one I always need help from the audience. We're talking about hockey, which I blame myself. I should be a hockey fan. And NASCAR, which I don't blame myself, but my whole family is, well, at least the men in my family, my dad and my uncle David, are huge gearheads, are massive NASCAR fans. My dad considers it a failure of him being my father that I'm not into NASCAR more. I know. Yeah, for real, Dad.
Who's his favorite driver?
I don't know. Probably. I think it's probably. I don't know. I don't know this for a fact. My guess is it's Kyle Larson because A, he knows Kyle's local, and B, he's not really aware of things. I think he just knows the guy is local and goes, okay, I'm going to root for the local guy. I know he really liked Tony Stewart and I think Jimmy Johnson, who finished third. But I just, this is one of those times where I try not to completely rip the sport because I'm always a fan. Hey, I always say whatever you're into is whatever you're into. But I always need help because I'd love to. I've said this many times. I'd love to be into NASCAR. I'd love to be into hockey. Like, how great would it be to have things year round all the time that you can watch? And yeah, I'm into soccer and I'm into golf. So if I'm into soccer and I'm into golf, how can I not be into racing? And how can I not be into hockey? It's the great conundrum. We will talk about hockey because holy crap. I don't know how they can do this, but they need to figure it out. I swear to God, if they could figure out a way to make hockey, just get rid of all the leagues and make it all just country on country. Dude, I would be all about it because there's something about Olympic or I don't know, what do you call it? Patriot hockey, like hockey where the countries are going at it. And I'm dialed. Like that game, I think it was Friday, USA Canada, and they drop the puck and then everybody just beats the hell out of each other for like 20 minutes. There's like 5 different fights or something. Everyone's just beating each other and then they play hockey. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about LeBron. Normally, look, I call balls and strikes, or I try to at least. Normally I tend to side on LeBron's side for most things. I tend to think the Bronny stuff is overblown. I feel bad. But I'm not a fan of LeBron this weekend. Not a fan of LeBron at all. We need to talk about it. Selfish LeBron James. I'm trying to understand the inside the NBA thing. Like they're leaving, but they're here, but they're going somewhere else. But they had a big goodbye during the All-Star break, which we will talk about. We'll talk about the All-Star game. Talk about the All-Star game. We'll talk about the dunk contest. Is Mac McClung the greatest dunker of all time? And all that other stuff. So the thing about shows like today, everybody, is that we go with a light plan, and more often than not, I am crossing my fingers here, more often than not, they turn out to be some of the more fun shows, especially with your participation at the text line 916-339-1140. You can call us 1-800-912-1140. Chris is there to person the phones, and all of you, of course, in the chat. We'll take a quick break. Leading off is next.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sacktown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Sacktown Sports app.
Wednesday, March 5th, Sacramento is where the best wrestle as All Elite Wrestling presents Dynamite and Collision. 2 of professional wrestling's biggest shows all in one night. Be there live as AEW returns to Sacramento for the first time in 2 years for the final 2 shows before AEW Revolution.
Let's get down to business.
AEW Dynamite and Collision from Sacramento Memorial Auditorium. Wednesday, March 5th. Tickets on sale now starting at $20 at AEWTIX.com.
Way to go. You've stuck to your resolution to become a fitter you, and now those exercises that pushed you to your limits the first time around are already feeling easier. So what's next? At InShape, taking your workout to the next level can be as easy as trying something new. Take our small group training classes like boxing, rowing, and more, or set new goals with an InShape personal trainer. Then recover with a massage or the sauna, also known as the best part of the workout. We are InShape. You are ready. Join online today at InShape.com.
All guests come to you from the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Let's do it. Leading off, the 3 top stories in the morning.
Huge news. This is very important.
Here's cut number 1.
It's only fitting that the All-Star MVP on this floor go to Steph Curry.
Hey, Steph Curry was the MVP of the All-Star game that I think nobody cared about. I saw a lot of mixed thoughts on this over the weekend. And by mixed, I mean the vast majority was like, oh, this sucks. I'm going to go against the grain a little bit here. Look, first off, the headline, I didn't think it was amazing. It wasn't like life-changing or anything like that. I do think they might be onto something, though, with the combination of these teams and the way the teams are shaking out. And then on top of that, the Elam ending they do, first to 40 wins, no clock other than a shot clock. They've tried that part before. I enjoyed it. But all you really had to do, and this is where it kind of hit me, they might be onto something. The teams are stupid. Team Kenny, Chuck, Candace, all that. Get rid of that. You have the young rising stars, okay? You have the internationals. You have the like OGs, and then you have like the current, like the current stars in there. So and some of these crossover, by the way, obviously. But just to give you an example, so like Jokic, Doncic, those are your international players, Giannis, etc. Your OGs would be like your Stephs, your LeBrons, your James Hardens, those type. And then your current dudes, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander could either be international or a current. Anyways, you do all of those. So you basically, what is that? That's and then you have the rising stars, like I said earlier, like the super young guys, like the ones that aren't all stars yet, but basically the combo of the rookie sophomore game, right? And I love that because I was watching what was it? I think it was Shaq versus, what was it? Team Candace, I think, had the young ones, the super young ones, and they were into it. Like, they were playing defense. The old guys did not want to lose to the young guys, and the young guys really wanted to beat the old guys. Now the final, and I think where they screwed it up, the final was lame and was a total blowout. And then on top of that, I think by the time they got to the final, everyone was tired and over it, and there was like a 30-minute pause. So I think there's some good news out of it if you're somebody that wants to have a functional all-star weekend. And we'll talk about this a bit later. I think with some slight scheduling adjustments and some slight team adjustments, I think they might be onto something here. They're never going to find a way to recapture the all-star games of the 80s and 90s. We're never going to see Magic Johnson returning to the floor after his HIV diagnosis and hitting all those threes in everybody's faces. We're never going to see Michael Jordan versus Charles Barkley head-to-head going. That's just, those days are gone. But I think there is a way to get these guys' competitive juices flowing. And I think they got close. They're in the right neighborhood. Anyways, more on that coming up next. In the meantime, cut number 2, please.
Cut number 2.
It could be a two-time winner here. William Byron, Nemechek, Reddick. Off turn 4 and to the flag. Checker is waving, and William Byron has won the 500 for the second year in a row.
Holy cow.
Okay, I got to quit doing this thing. I'm looking at myself on the monitor. You ever notice that the older people get, the more their mouth drops open when they're concentrating? And I just looked at myself on the monitor when I was searching for something on the internet. And I did look like an old man there. My mouth was open, and I'm trying to find NASCAR on ESPN. Found it. William Byron, who I, honest to God, this is not a bit, I thought William Byron was a poet or somebody he was a writer. Sounds incredibly familiar, and I know there's somebody with a name like that. I could have sworn I read the works of William Byron when I was in 7th grade. He's 27. He's won the Daytona 500 for the 2nd time in a row. And I just, again, I want to talk this through with, I know we have NASCAR fans in the audience, and I want to ask them not to be too protective or defensive, even though I'll probably deserve it. I just, look, beyond the whole, I don't understand why your biggest race is the first race thing. Let's just move past that. It's just what it is. I watched the beginning, then I went and like did things, and then I came back and I watched probably the last hour and a half. I know there was the big weather delay, and I don't get it. Like everyone's driving around at 200 miles an hour and they're all mushed together. And then who's the guy in the number 2 car, Austin something, and they were saying he's got the best car of the day. And then everyone mushes together, and some of these guys are teammates, so they're ganging up on people. But then some of the guys are teammates, and they're ganging up on each other because 2 teammates like crashed into each other earlier. And then there's like 2 or 3 laps left, and everyone crashes into each other. And then the dude that's in like 19th is the one that avoids the crash, and he wins the Daytona 500. I don't get it. Like you basically just chill the whole race, and then at the end, you just avoid the crashes. And then everybody who crashes is like, oh, that's cool. Well, that's cool. You just spent your whole year prepping your car, and I get it. It's like if you go to the Olympics or something and you're a gymnast and you fall on one of your spins or something, like, sorry for you. I just don't, I can't imagine being Austin Cindric. That's the guy's name, right? I can't imagine being a fan of Austin Cindric like I'm a fan of the Kings or the Niners or something. And I'm like super excited for his win. He's been doing all this amazing stuff. And then in the second to last lap, like some dude crashes into whoever, and it takes me and everybody out. And that was like 10 minutes after some other car like literally flipped in the air and landed on its head. Thank God the guy was okay. That's the other thing too about NASCAR is I just don't know, and I'm not obviously making a thing about this. Like this is, I do, I can be funny and silly and whatever. I'm never going to joke about this stuff. I just don't know that I could ever commit to a sport where I would say it's uncommon, but not unheard of for an athlete to die in the race. Like I don't know if my heart can handle that. I can deal with, the guy tore his knee, been through that, Achilles, we've seen that, but you're talking about a sport, and they've done a wonderful job, by the way, from the days of, Dale Earnhardt Sr. and all that. And they talk about it a lot. And there was an example on Sunday of that, about how they have developed safety systems, and these guys are in horrific wrecks, and the dude walks away from the whole thing. Everybody walks away. Thank goodness. I don't know if my heart could handle that, man. It's sad enough when I don't know these guys and I hear about a tragedy, much less if I followed it. I cannot imagine following, for example, again, like the Kings, and I don't even want to say the player's name, but the horrible game versus whoever, and tragedy, as there was a terrible look. It's sports, bad things can happen. I get it, but I don't know, man. So I need a NASCAR fan to help me out on that, because I would love to be into it, but I just can't do it. Not yet. Number 3, please, real quick.
Cut number 3.
Charlie McAvoy put one on net. Now we're 9 seconds in. We had a fight 2 seconds in, another one 1 second later. Now in the center of the action, it's Colt Parayko and JT Miller.
So I think I'm like a lot of people. I'm not into hockey unless it's the Olympics, maybe the Stanley Cup final, and stuff like what they're doing right now. It's the 4 nations or whatever they're calling it. It's like Sweden, Finland, America, and Canada. And they're all going at it. And on Friday, Canada and the U.S. tipped off, whatever they call it. I think it was it was somewhere in Canada. I think it was in Montreal. Face Off. Thank you. Sorry, Face Off. Great movie. Not really. And dude, it was amazing. Like the ref drops the puck, And then everybody just throws down their sticks and gear and just starts beating on each other. And there's like one big fight in the middle, and then that fight ends. And then they reface off, and same thing. I think they did that like 3 or 4 times, right? It's just the first 5 minutes was just everybody beating the hell out of each other and going to the penalty box. And that kind of obviously set the tone. And I still don't know why they did that. Is it because of the anthem thing?
I think so.
Is it really? So wait a minute. So go to Canada. Canada boos the national anthem. And then our players fight the Canadian players because their fans booed the national anthem. I mean, honestly, I'm just asking, was that what you saw, Chris?
Like, what else would it be?
I don't know. I thought maybe there was like bad blood from before, and some guy must have said something in the press, or there was carryover.
Did you see a Canadian doing that?
No. But then what? So Canada's going to just, I mean, I guess, I don't know. And like, if Canada's booing the national anthem, that's not the Canadian players' fault, right? Like, dude, that's them. I'm just sitting here with my hockey stick and my shin guards. But it was awesome. And
that's a big wrestling move, though. Just like, oh, like the bad guy, like, oh, you're going to boo me? I'm going to kick him in the face.
Yeah, I mean, it really is kind of a little bit of wrestling in there, but it's like, none of this is fake or scripted. This is a real deal. And it's really inapplicable to just about any other sport. Like, imagine the Kings playing the Lakers, Kings Warriors, and right off the bat, Sabonis and Draymond just go at it, just beat the crap out of each other. And then, but instead of them being booted and suspended for 3 weeks, and there have to be interventions and counseling and all that, they're just each team's playing 4-on-4 for 5 minutes, and then they come back in and everything's forgotten. I'm not entirely sure that's all a bad idea, but. From the 916, you're not into hockey, racing, baseball, and I believe college football. No, I'm super.
Yeah, you're not into college football.
Not at all, dude. No, wrong guy, man. I love college football, and I'm a lifelong Florida State.
Your mood has not been affected by college football.
Not at all. Like at all last year, as I watched the Seminoles go from undefeated and out of the playoffs to one of the worst teams in the NCAA. Hockey, racing, baseball. Yeah, Look, baseball, and we're going to talk about baseball a little bit later today because we're what, 5 weeks, a little over 5 weeks away from the Athletics stopping in Sacramento for a couple of years to play baseball, and I want to check everybody's temperature on that. And as I said earlier, hockey, racing, these are sports. Racing's a sport, and do we call racing a sport? I feel like we call racing a sport. If golf's a sport, racing should be a sport.
That means darts is a sport.
That's it. See, that's such a hard conversation. I hate that conversation because honestly, I don't feel strongly one way or the other. Like, darts requires motor skill, golf requires motor skill, and you could argue that the car is doing everything, but you have to have skills to drive it and reflexes and senses. So
I'll say I was on that boat, and then they show like the G-force that they have to pull and like all that like exercise they have to do on their neck just to like not pass out.
Yeah, no, it's and I mean, just the stress and and also you can't pee for like 5 hours. Like
that's the big one.
That is a huge one. So we'll talk about a lot of this today because it is an interesting conversation. Fixing the All-Star game. How do we get hockey like this all the time? And also the A's and LeBron being selfish. I mean, we got a lot of crap on the table here. So sit back, relax. We'll be right back after this.
Live and local.
With everything 49ers.
Intercepted by Fred Warner. Dives for the end zone. Touchdown! San Francisco! Lob ball. Jones went up and caught the ball. Touchdown!
The 49ers play on Sacktown Sports 1140.
What's up? We're talking to Chad Hoblet of Hoblet Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Woodland. Chad, what's going on for the President's Day sales event?
If you've been waiting to get a new Ram Heavy Duty, now is the time to buy. Save up to $20,000 off MSRP on remaining new 2024 Ram Heavy Duties, starting as low as $38,995.
That's huge savings on heavy duties.
Yep, and that means it can't last long. Some may call themselves a Super Ram Truck Center, But when you need a hard-to-find Ram Heavy Duty, Hoblet has it, with over 400 new Ram trucks available.
Don't miss your chance to save. Search, select, and save through their whole inventory at HobletDodge.com. Unbeatable prices, unbeatable selection. Nobody beats Hoblet, period.
20,000 total net savings after 13,000 factory rebates and 7,000 dealer discounts. Rebates include 10% off MSRP factory cash. Sample VIN savings, 8,013. 4,000 Hoblet Select inventory coupons, and 1,000 Hoblet trade-in assistance for 2005 or newer under 160,000-mile vehicle. At least 5 of this net savings, $38,995 net price, simple VIN, 411627. See dealer for details.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Have you noticed cracks in your drywall, chimney, or exterior walls? I hope not, because if you have, they could be indications that you've got a much bigger problem with your foundation. That's where Groundworks comes in. They can honestly assess your situation and create a plan to stabilize your foundation. Schedule your free inspection at groundworks.com/row. And while you're there, check out my latest dirty job. It's a good one.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit, 800-301-4422, 800-301-4422, 800-301-4422.
Coach Doug Christie here for your truck headquarters, Folsom Lake Ford. Shop all your favorite models on sale now, like America's best-selling F-Series. Check out a huge selection of Mavericks, F-150s, and Super Duty trucks, or tech-filled SUVs like Explorers and Expeditions, plus a huge selection of Broncos and Bronco Sports. All in stock now at Folsom Lake Ford in the Folsom Auto Mall. Right now, buy any new Ford with $0 down on approval of credit. Save big with low interest finance rates. And Folsom Lake Ford always pays top dollar for your trade. Hurry to Folsom Lake Ford in the Folsom Auto Mall, a 6-time Triple Crown winner for sales and service excellence. That's why they are my trusted dealer, and they should be yours too. For 35 years and counting, come down and take a test drive today. Tell them Coach Doug Christie sent you, or shop online at FolsomLakeFord.com.
Are you tired of your tee shots ending up in the adjoining fairway while the rest of your foursome is hitting it down the middle? Well, experts will tell you that being properly fitted for golf clubs will help you strike your drive center cut. The Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio and its team of trained PGA professionals are ready to help you get rid of your banana balls and duck hooks. Hagen Oaks Indoor-Outdoor Player Performance Studio fittings are available 7 days a week. Make yours today by calling 916-808-2531. That's 808-2531.
The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ros.
Call or text at 916-339-1140.
On Sacktown Sports.
I want to share a little project I did over the weekend for the soccer team in England, because it kind of ties into over here. So before the match at Birmingham, or home against Birmingham, about a month or so ago when I was over there, we did a pre-match fireworks show, right? Pretty good one too. And look, the response was mixed, to say the best. So before spending the money, March 4th is we're hosting Wrexham. It's a big match. And before that, put out, hey, before we do fireworks again, do you guys want to see fireworks? So I put the poll out in two different places, one on the big Huddersfield Town message board, the other on Twitter. And a little over 2,000 votes on Twitter. 64% said no. We do not want fireworks. That was actually, and I suspect it's because some of my American friends who don't care just voted in general. That was nothing compared to what I got back online on the website, which was 156 votes no, 23 voted yes. Like, it's just not even close. And Chris, the most popular type of response, other than we don't care about Wrexham, and it really has nothing to do with Wrexham, it's because it's a Tuesday night game, and Pyro has to be at night. It just happened Birmingham and Wrexham were 2 consecutive Tuesday matches. But it's no pyro unless we have something to celebrate, like going up in the division, or no pyro, take the money and just focus on winning on the pitch. That's all the pyro we need. Or the most popular atmosphere, most popular response is basically it's an insult over there. And I know that I'm not speaking for every fan over there, but it's basically taken as an insult to do anything to artificially, in their minds, pump up an atmosphere. Like, that's up to them. And the way the atmosphere is pumped up to them is, we're going to pay, we're going to show up, and we're going to watch. And if you give us something to go crazy about, we're going to go crazy. We'll be there. But if you're not giving us anything to go crazy about, no amount of fireworks or, thunder sticks or, God forbid, music after a goal, any of that stuff. And if you even tried music during gameplay, I think there actually would be a war. Like, you cannot do that. And it's interesting because I'm not here to say which is right or wrong. Like, over here, you're watching a Kings game, and it's defense, defense, all kinds of whatever. Imagine Scott Fresh at an English soccer match during a stoppage in play, pumping up the crowd. They would throw things. I mean, I think they, honest to God, would throw things at him. This is too loud. I can't hear what my mate's saying next to me. I want to talk about the match. What are you doing? We don't need this. And I, honest to God, at first, I'll be very honest, my first instinct, Chris, was, wow, we actually have better fans, because our fans will oftentimes lift the team through our actions. And as a Kings fan, I'm an absolute expert, as are most people here listening, in the fans doing better at their performance than the players on the court. That has pretty much been the norm for 40 years, with a few exceptions. The fans lift the players, and then hopefully the players are lifted and they reward the fans. Whereas over there, it's, no, you have to earn our excitement. You have to earn us doing our thing. And if you don't, not only are we not going to have an atmosphere, but we're going to boo you off the pitch.
That's definitely a club to club thing as well.
Is it?
Yeah. Because Manchester City, when they were awful and in the 3rd division, they were well known for singing as terribly as they were doing.
Really? So
their biggest chant is talking about how terrible they are.
So when they were singing, though, was it like a mocking towards the team?
It wasn't. So their big one, they still sing it to this day, is we never win at home and we never win away. And so I don't know. I think it was more of a, hey, we're here to cheer you on no matter what, no matter how, because it's like, dude, you just dropped 2 levels. Like, no one thinks that we're great type of thing.
Right.
So that was their big thing of just singing even how terribly they're doing.
So when you say 3rd division, that would be the division we're in right now, right? League One. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm really split on this, and I can see arguments on both sides. Instinctively, as an American fan of sports, I would do anything legal and maybe a misdemeanor for my team if I thought it helped my team win in any way. So if I thought that going crazy and cheering and chanting and all that would lift the team, the atmosphere could lift the team, a real home court advantage, I would 100% participate in that, and then just go home and say, well, I left it all out there as a fan. We left it all out there, and they still lost, but we did our part, and they just suck. And I don't, there's a big part of me that does not understand where I want to say, England people, like, be loud, have the atmosphere regardless, and maybe you squeeze a couple extra goals a year out of it. I don't know. But then on the other hand, I do get where they're coming from. I get the culture. The longer I'm over there, the longer I deal with them, where they're like, no. See, we're doing our part. We paid for our season ticket. We show up, and it's not like I used to kind of wonder in my head, wow, why are Tuesday, like today, they play at 11:30, which is 7:30 p.m. Over there, and it gets dark this time of year at like 3:30 in the afternoon. Like, it will be pitch black by the time they kick off. And attendance is generally like half of what it would be on a Saturday. And I remember going, God, like, why? They'd say, well, because work and kids and all this stuff. And I'm thinking, dude, like, every Kings game is on Tuesday at 7:00, and people tend to show up and sell the place out. Like, that's unheard of. Like, it'd be unheard of to not go to a game because it's during the week, or rare. But then somebody said to me, yeah, but you're also playing in a 72-degree controlled dome for basketball, whereas we're turning out on a Tuesday, in many cases driving an hour to do so. And it is cold and damp and raining, and you're wet, and it's freezing, and it sucks, and you can't drink anything in your seats, even a cup of coffee. You can't bring beverages to your seats over there, because I think everything's tied towards them beating the hell out of each other historically. So you have to go drink on the concourse, which makes a lot of sense. Like, oh, okay, I get it. All right, that is true. I see where they're coming from. Their culture is, we did our part by showing up. Now it is your turn to give us something to cheer about. And if you don't give us something to cheer about, we're not going to cheer, and screw you, and here's the middle finger. I just don't know which one's right. I don't even know if there is one that's right. I know they're different. And people say, well, atmosphere over there is better for sports. And I think that's an incomplete sentence. I think that I have seen the best of the best atmospheres, or the craziest atmospheres, in Europe. Well, and really, honestly, in all kinds of different parts of the world. You're talking about fans letting off fireworks from their seats, and people going insane with their chants and their singing and this and that, whatever. So I think the highest of the highs, I would tend to agree that Europe, for example, can have even crazier atmospheres than over here. But I think on average, I'm not entirely sure America doesn't have a better atmosphere day to day, match to match, game to game. I'm not sure. I'm not sure which one's right. But I do know you've experienced both, Chris, quite a bit. Where do you fall?
Every match I've gone over there has been better. One of the best sporting events I ever went to was the Ricky Hatton Floyd Mayweather weigh-in, because of how crazy the fans were going.
Yeah, I think. But would you agree? See, the thing is, though, Chris, is I don't disagree with you, and I don't think you're wrong. But I also wonder, see, for example, the Ricky Hatton thing, that would be like defining Sacramento fans based off of if you went to the Uriah Faber Jens Pulver fight. Like, there are certain things they will go insane about. But I also feel like most sporting events you've seen over there are like the best of the best. You're watching Ricky Hatton, you're watching Manchester City.
If you watch a darts match,
well, okay, well,
they're going crazy, which might be the best atmosphere.
I couldn't agree with you more.
And you want to talk about them? They've got entrance music. They've got the announcers telling everyone to go crazy. They've got that's everything that you said that they don't want. They've got in the darts match.
Well, and then I found myself wondering, and I know we got a break here. Like, first off, like I said, there's a history of sports and violence over there, violence in sports, which is why fans are segregated from each other, home and away. You can't drink in your seat. Like there's a lot of things built up to keep these guys from beating the hell out of each other. But then they're playing darts with literal steel weapons in their hands, and everybody's drinking and having a good time. It's just interesting how that works. And I find myself wondering, Chris, could darts even approach over here the fervor that it has over in England?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so either. But man, it's fun over there. We'll take a break. We're actually doing at Huddersfield Town. We're doing a dart tournament in May there, I think, and it like sold out in like 20 seconds. It did. Whereas like over here, darts is like the thing you play with the plastic tips at the bar. We'll take a break. When we come back, let's get into this All-Star game thing, by the way. Did they figure it out, or have they started figuring out? We also need to talk about the slam dunk contest and Mac McClung. So we'll do all that right after this.
You never know what you might hear when listening to a Sacramento Kings game.
Out of Keegan, going for another triple. Man, is he feeling it. Keegan, can he do it? Yes, there's number 11, Keegan Murray. Keegan steps back. He just knocked down his 12th three-pointer, a Kings franchise record. He's got 45 points.
Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with Sacktown Sports and the Sacktown Sports app.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave coming to you from my good friends at American Energy. Look, it's already cold outside. It's only going to get colder. American Energy wants to help you stay warm and make sure your system is operating safely. So right now is the time to take advantage of the $49 tune-up inspection. Normally $119, $49 right now, and that includes a full safety and duct inspection. And check it out. If your system's over 10 years old, and I'll bet it is, the tune-up, yeah, it's free. It's free from a company that's been in business since 1981, serving the greater Sacramento area. A+ Better Business Bureau. Check their Yelp, check their Google reviews. Don't take my word for it. Give them a call right now. $50 off your first recommended repair. If you need a new furnace, half off the price of a new unit. Check them out at the AEway.com and tell them Carmichael Dave sent you.
Call 916-520-9998 now.
Someone had a birthday.
Yep, 50. Can't believe it.
50 years of wisdom.
Great segue. We have health news, a CDC update.
Pneumococcal vaccination is now recommended for adults 50 or older. Says here, we're over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia than adults under 50.
I don't love those odds.
Same. Look what I found. Pfizer's Prevnar 20 is proven to help protect adults against pneumococcal pneumonia and invasive pneumococcal disease in just one dose, and millions have already gotten it.
Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you have a severe allergy to its ingredients. A weakened immune system may lower your response. Common side effects include injection site pain and swelling, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138. Visit Prevnar20.com or talk to your doctor or pharmacist.
I'm on Prevnar20.com now, scheduling my appointment.
Good idea. And happy 50th.
There's a reason why more and more people are coming from all over to Sacramento Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Folsom, Elk Grove, Woodland, Roseville. And it's not just because they're centrally located next to Hagan Oaks Golf Course. It's because they make the car buying experience different than anywhere else. Yeah, of course they can get you a great price. That's the easy part. Where their general manager, Chuck Dean, and his team really make a difference is they don't believe you should have to sacrifice great customer service to get a great deal. Stomp on in today and see for yourself. That's Sacramento Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. It's the place where a handshake still means something.
Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagan Oaks Golf Super Shop. Here's Frank LaRosa.
You're faced with a long shot in the heavy rough. Now what? Jessica Marksberry writes in Golf Magazine that while hybrids have made these shots a bit easier to deal with, lengthy shots from heavy rough are still a significant challenge. Top 100 teacher Tina Toombs says the first thing you need is loft and a specific mindset over the ball. You need to hold onto the club firmer with your left hand to prevent the club from grabbing the grass. You can elect to play in the back of your stance or play it forward. Now, playing it forward makes the swing a bit steeper so it can stay open more and the ball comes out of the rough better. She says a 7-wood makes it easier than a hybrid for longer shots. The ball comes out low, but rolls a long way because of top spin. And if all else fails, she says bailing out is an option too, and there's no shame in taking your medicine to avoid compounding your initial error. If you're really not sure, take your 9-iron and get it out. Don't risk topping it and leaving it in the rough. Good luck out there. That's your golf to go. I'm Frank LaRosa.
Sacramento's premier country music festival, Country in the Park, is coming back May 16th and 17th at Cal Expo with Bailey Zimmerman, Billy Currington, Cole Wetzel, Nate Smith, and more. You'll enjoy food trucks, rock walls, and a mechanical bull, line dancing, and more. Single-day GA tickets start at $52 at CITPFest.com. Country in the Park, May 16th and 17th with the California Army National Guard. Find out more at CITPFest.com.
Waking you up with the best in local sports.
They just make it interesting, you know?
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ros
on Sacktown Sports.
There's still a lot of conversation about the Kendrick Lamar Super Bowl halftime show. And I don't get the whole thing where it's like, if you like it, the argument, you either like it or you don't. It's that simple. If you liked it, and I did, great.
There were plenty of halftime shows that I didn't like in the past.
That's the thing. It's a spectacle. It's not going to be for everyone. I was trying to think about this. Like, you're never going to come up with a halftime show that pleases everyone. You're never going to come up with anything that pleases anyone. But what I was trying to think of is what would be the closest. So I started this thought process by thinking, okay, what band or artist would you most likely, if they were playing, it was just them, no help, no features, no nothing, would get the largest overall approval rating? So there's one way to go. And like, for example, back in the day, like that would probably be Michael Jackson, who isn't for everybody, but he's for most people. I think Prince, for most people, a lot of crossover there. If you get into any genre, deep Kendrick Lamar, that's going to turn off some people. They're like, no, I'm into hard rock and country. Okay. But then if you come out next with, God, I don't know, The Who or Coldplay or, who's big in country right now? I don't know. Oh, Garth Brooks, just even a guy like that, or Tim McGraw, like superstars of 30 years in country. People are going to be like, this is lame. So why don't they do like a medley of artists and just go for all like a bunch, just knock out a bunch of genres? Like, why not have like a 4-part Super Bowl halftime show? Let's say it's 20 minutes, right? You get like a 5-minute country medley, a 5-minute hip-hop medley, a 5-minute rock medley, and then a 5-minute like R&B pop medley. So if you threw out like Morgan Wallen and Post Malone, which kind of crosses over there, okay, so they're the first one. And then you come in with like Lil Wayne and somebody. And then you go to the rock, Foo Fighters, okay, and then you finish off with Maroon 5 or Taylor Swift, or I don't know. You're still going to get people to bitch, but like, can they even try that? Like, I know they've kind of come close in the past, but like, why not just solve it that way? And that way, everybody's pissed and everybody's happy.
Yeah, that sounds terrible.
Why? Just too much?
Because like every group that you said, I'm like, I don't want to see them.
Well, I mean, don't get stuck on. Oh, by the way, Morrissey's coming, right? I saw that over the weekend. Morrissey's on tour.
Ooh,
you gonna do that?
No,
you're a big Morrissey guy. You love him and all parts of him and everything he stands for.
I do not. Please don't put that out there.
But yeah, MC put in the chat Creed. Like, yeah, if Creed did the Super Bowl halftime show, I would be into it. I would be glued and I would be singing along and I would love it. Me and 7 other people probably. And that's it. Believe it or not, if Nickelback did the halftime show, you would get some people that were incredibly into it. But take away the specific artist, Chris. Could you knock out a multi-denominational, if you will, halftime show and get away with it? Or do you think it has to be a theme with one artist, maybe some features, like the formula they've had so far, where it kind of, you need the 20 minutes to create the show itself?
Sorry, you threw me with the Morrissey thing, and I saw that he's going to be in Reno.
I told you, dude. And you know you're going to sneak up there on the sly. You know you are. I'm just saying, could you, and I kind of don't hate this idea either. Corey in the chat, BB Corey 82 says, what about Weird Al?
Oh, now you've got me sold.
I feel like,
and and he does those medleys.
Yes. I feel like, in all seriousness, Weird Al would actually be a hilarious and fun. What if they just did that and the theme was like all artists? So you do like a Weird Al featuring Tenacious D, Lil Dicky, trying to think of some other guys that like don't take themselves seriously.
Lonely Island.
Lonely Island. That would be a great.
Now, if Lonely Island did a Super Bowl halftime, and then they've got the people that they did their stuff with, like Justin Timberlake and Rihanna and Kendrick.
Yeah.
All those. I think that could work.
I think that's where they need to go. And by the way, Super Bowl organizers, you're probably getting Weird Al for, well, I mean, I know they don't get paid, so never mind. I was going to say he's probably available and he's probably cheap. But I'm just saying, man, like, maybe we stop going so hardcore on one side. Like I said, I love the Kendrick Lamar show. I thought it was cool. People are still talking about it. Then Drake releases whatever he released over the weekend. Now everybody's arguing back and forth. Look, it's good for the genre. It's good. It's in the news. People are talking about it. It's a thing. They're selling out. Good for them. I just wonder if you could, I don't know. I think there's a solution there, much like the All-Star game, which I skipped over here. So we'll start the second hour. If you'll notice, guys, there's a theme to today's show. There's a few themes, and one of them is my goal, because I currently, and Chris can vouch for this, I have the entire 9 o'clock hour open, with the exception of 9:43, which is celebrity birthdays and what to watch and all that stuff, and crosstalk. My goal is to continue to find things out of the blue to talk about that push segments forward. So far, we're actually doing good. We have not gotten to All-Star Weekend yet. We have not gotten to the Inside the NBA thing. The next segment was going to be Daytona 500. I'm going to keep pushing that. So leading off the second hour, we'll talk about All-Star Weekend. How'd they do with the format? Did you enjoy it? Did you hate it? And either way, what I really want to know, because I don't think anybody is 100% on either side. If you didn't enjoy it, were there things you did? If you did enjoy it, were there things you didn't? Because the whole point here is to try to see if we can fix that sucker. Because so far, the most talked about part of All-Star Weekend over the last couple of years is how much All-Star Weekend needs to be fixed. We'll take a break. We'll come back. We'll talk about that next.
The Sacramento Kings play here.
He's got the triple. Sacramento takes the lead.
Get your Kings fix all season long right here on your home of the Sacramento Kings, Sacktown Sports and SacktownSports.com.
Mornings can start feeling the same. Wake up, brush teeth, go to work.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave for my good friends over at Jiffy Lube, and they want to show some customer love this month with their February oil change deals you can find online today. Visit jiffylube.com and find a service center near you to see these sweetheart deals, get it, during the month of February. Here's what you do. Drive into savings at jiffylube.com today and let yourself save in the month of February. Tell them Carmichael Dave sent you.
At Stockton Honda, we know how to honor a great deal. Like right now, during our President's Day sales event, you can find star-spangled savings on some of our best models. Why not stop in today and see for yourself? Save thousands with low APR financing and great lease rates on over 500 new Hondas at Stockton Honda.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
Finally, an easy way to find home improvement contractors. Just visit subcontractorsunited.com and simplify your search for home services professionals. From cabinets to windows, roofing to plumbing, Subcontractors United is an easy, simple way to find and hire a home improvement contractor. And you never have to give up personal information. So no harassing phone calls like you get from those other websites. Subcontractorsunited.com is sponsored by D&D Cabinets and Savage Design.
Hurry in and save big during Honda's President's Day sales event at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Hurry in and save on our best selection of new Hondas. Each is priced to sell now. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop for great pricing on a giant selection of new CRVs, HRVs, Civics, and Accords with low finance and lease options. Plus, get an instant cash offer for your trade. Get to Folsom Lake Honda or go to FolsomLakeHonda.com.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
We could all use more time. Amazon Business offers smart business buying solutions so you can spend more time growing your business and less time doing the admin. I can see why they call it smart. Learn more at AmazonBusiness.com.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million+ products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Right now, get up to a $15 gift card after rebate when you purchase select Superstart batteries exclusively at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
If you're 55 and up, T-Mobile has plans built just for you. 2 lines of unlimited for just $30 a line. That's a 45% savings compared to Verizon and AT&T. But don't just take our word for it.
It's not just the savings that are great with our T-Mobile plan. There's all this value from all these other things that T-Mobile offers.
T-Mobile has been such a savings for us.
We love it.
Switch today and get 2 free 5G phones like the Motorola Edge with Turbo Power charging that gives you power for the day in just 15 minutes. And customers 55 and up can get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for only $30 a line. Go to T-Mobile.com/choice55 to learn more. With AutoPay plus taxes and fees, plus $5 per line without AutoPay. Debit or bank account required. 45% off 2 lines versus AT&T Starter and Verizon Welcome. Plan benefits vary. Motorola Edge on us with 24 monthly bill credits and new line for well-qualified customers, plus tax and $35 per line connection charge. See details at T-Mobile.com. Motorola Edge requires 68-watt charger. Charger sold separately. Actual performance will vary based on usage and configuration.
Everyone has a past, but what happens if you've made mistakes and made good on that past, but it keeps following you? Are you looking for an attorney to erase past records and restore your rights? Maybe even restore your gun rights? Do you need a reputable criminal defense attorney who knows even good people make bad mistakes? Well, the attorneys at Gonzalez Law Office are here to help. Find Gonzalez Law Office online at saclegaldefense.com or call them at 916-304-9187. We don't settle for less, and neither should you.
The PGA club fitters at the Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio know that golf should be fun. They also know that players of all abilities will hit the ball farther and straighter, play better golf, shoot lower scores, and have more fun if they get fitted before they purchase golf clubs. Hagen Oaks delivers the same technology and major brands used to fit PGA and LPGA professionals. See how the game can be even more fun. Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio fittings are available 7 days a week. Make yours today by calling 916-808-2531. That's 808-2531.
All guests come to you from the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
KHD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, Sacktown Sports 1140. The Carmichael Dave Show.
He's on the microphone when he's not on the microphone. He's playing a song, and when he's not playing a song, he's on the microphone, and then boom.
With Jason Ros.
No, he didn't. Yes, he did.
Call or text at 916-339-1140.
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ros on Sacktown Sports.
Jason will be back tomorrow, and you will have Dave Free Radio. Celebrate now, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We'll be back full strength. We stay Monday. Hope you enjoyed your holiday if you got it yesterday. Not everybody gets President's Day off. I understand that. But if you did, enjoy. And I was checking the weather over the weekend. I don't know if it's still the same or not, but I think we're getting into the 70s this week. Yeah. Oh, next Tuesday. Tuesday is 70. Thursday, that's next week, 71. But the rest of the week, like, it's gonna be rainy tomorrow. Here's your weather report. 62 today and cloudy, 60 and rainy tomorrow, and then 65, 68, 70, 68.
Wow, who's turning 100?
Who's
Dave?
what?
Tell us who's turning 100.
Am I doing? What was it? Willard Scott.
Willard Scott.
Hey, and old Connie G out there. Congratulations. She's what would be 101 years young. Willard's not still with us, is he? He's long gone.
No.
I think he's gone. Shout out Willard Scott. Also, before we get into it, I forgot. I should have led the show off this way. A big hearty congratulations is in order, and 1,000 attaboys to me. Yes, congratulations to me, as yesterday, for the first time in my entire life, anyone who's listened to the show for 5 minutes knows all you have to do is look at me. I enjoy food and I enjoy cooking. And yesterday, for the first time in my life, I cooked bread. And I'm not talking about like a muffin or cornbread. I'm talking about like yeast and water, warm water and sugar in a little bowl until it puffed up and got foamy, and then mixing it with all-purpose and bread flour and kneading it and letting it rise, and then forming it into a little ball and then letting it rise again. And then I patted it out into a disc, and I put sesame seeds on top, and I brushed it with an egg wash, and I baked it at 425 for 10 minutes, and then dropped it to 350 for 20 minutes, pulled it out of the oven, let it cool, sliced it in half. What is it when you go like across it, not down on it? What, lengthwise, I guess? It was imagine me baking a massive elevated hamburger bun, but it was the muffaletta bun recipe that I got online. I was obsessed with it, Chris, because I'm not paying $25 to have a couple of muffaletta buns sent out from New Orleans. And Chris, we enjoyed. As a matter of fact, I'll send you the pictures. I tweeted them yesterday. I was so proud of myself. It was the entire family enjoyed because this thing, by the way, it's a sandwich made for like 4 people. You cut it into fourths, and you got I bought the olive salad you put on it, the mortadella ham.
Okay.
Did you get the pictures?
It looks legit.
Yeah, like it's a little misshapen. Like that's the hard part.
It's more of an oval.
Yeah. It's not. I don't know how to do that yet. I'm not good at forming whatever. But we had that last night, and I would say the whole thing. I mean, the olive salad. I used the whole jar of olive salad I got at the store, and that was like $4.50. That was probably the most expensive ingredient. And then some provolone, some Swiss. And then some Italian seasoning on that sucker, some black pepper, and here. Sorry, YouTubers. Here, I'll show this for you. And for those of you listening to your cars right now, sorry. So here's step one. That's just the dough with the before the egg wash. Or no, wait, I have the egg wash on there, and the sesame seeds. All right. Then that is the baked version. Okay. With the sesame seeds, and then that is the sandwich before it was cut. All right, and then that is the sandwich from the side view from scratch. I was very proud of myself. So what that means for you, Chris, and why you should care is that sometime next week when we get back to full strength, what I will do is I'll just bring in my little hand cooler, and I think it will be the first time in your life you will have a freshly made muffalata sandwich.
Yeah, because I get them shipped to me
Right.
each time someone goes out.
Because that's the thing, you can't get that bread out here. You can't. I mean, it's basically, for lack of a better term, it's like a slightly more together hamburger bun, but it's mass. It's like a giant, massive like hamburger bun on steroids. So I'll bring all that in, easy to put together. I needed 2 cutting boards together so I didn't get stuff everywhere when I cut it. And then boom, you're just muffalating. And that is, in my opinion, the king of all sandwiches. So I will try that again. It was a bitch. Don't get me wrong. Like, baking is not easy, man. You can't just throw a bunch of crap in and experiment. Like, you have to measure everything.
Oh, you forget one thing,
you're screwed.
Or put a little more than you're supposed to.
Right. And it's not just even that. It's like you have to mix it all together, and then you have to let it rise for 90 minutes, and then you have to take it out and you have to punch the air out of it and then form it into a ball again and let it rise again. And I think that's called proofing, I think is what they call it. And then the whole baking process. But man, I was so proud of myself, and the kids loved it. Everybody loved it. And we sat around and we watched the SNL 50th. We're about halfway through the 50th anniversary so far. And we watched some of the concert too with old Jack White doing Seven Nation Army to complete that. So if you haven't seen that, you have Peacock, by the way. There's a lot of SNL stuff over the weekend. Very, very funny. And if you have watched the 50th anniversary, our favorite part of watching the actual show Sunday night was we would pause it anytime they would show the audience, and you just count. You just look at the audience. It's like, oh, there's Kevin Costner sitting next to Cher, and Conan O'Brien's over the left shoulder. Oh, there's Steven Spielberg. And just the audience was, I said this, and I think I'm probably right about this, unless somebody wants to correct me. I think it was the biggest collection of talent since the We Are the World tapings in 1983. I can't.
Not the SNL 40th anniversary?
I think this was bigger. I do. Oh, you're saying, was that since We Are the World? Yeah, maybe. Yeah, you might have a point there. My God, everybody was there. And the whole show started off with Paul Simon singing Homeward Bound with, who's the girl that does, I think she does Espresso?
Sabrina Carpenter.
Yeah, her. And Paul's gotten old. He's definitely aged. And he starts out saying, yeah, I sung this with George Harrison on this show in 1976. And Sabrina Carpenter's response was, yeah, I wasn't alive and neither were my parents. So that was a depressing beginning. Much like All-Star Weekend was a little bit of a depressing beginning. I was really depressed that Sabrina Ionescu and Steph Curry's 3-point competition got called off. And I still don't really understand why. But with the growth and success of the WNBA, I think I just read that some expansion team, is it Cleveland, paid $250 million for a franchise. Good for them. And they're talking about spinning off the NBA. They want to do their own thing. I think that's great. I think that'd be awesome if they were standalone and they didn't have to have anybody else making decisions for them. But I think, look, you're never going to have a true battle of the sexes that's necessarily fair unless it's like a Billie Jean King, Bobby Riggs, but you're talking about two different athletes at different stages of their careers. I think 3-point shooting is one of those ones where you actually can. Like that was exciting. That was awesome. And I was rooting for Sabrina. I thought it'd be amazing to see her take out Steph Curry. And she definitely held her own quite well. I don't know why they cancel that. It's a great showcase. It's fun. And also you get to showcase Sabrina to an audience that may not necessarily be aware. But they canceled that. That's fine. You had the 3-point contest, and I was convinced Dame Lillard would win it, Oakland guy, and it ended up being Tyler Hero, which was kind of very anticlimactic, if you will. Then you go to the dunk contest, and I actually think this dunk contest was pretty badass compared to what we've had. And Mac McClung is a specialist, and I think he deserved to win it. But I got to say this: I don't think the judges perfectly grasped that it was either the last or second to last Stephon Castle dunk. And they need to go back and when you watch it in replay, it's almost like the Vince Carter thing where he did the arm hang and the audience didn't understand what they saw at first. If you go back and look at that Castle dunk, it's where he's spinning opposite and dunking. The ball is rolling up his forearm as he's spinning. It's rolling along his forearm from elbow to hand as he's spinning and dunking. It's quite frankly one of the most difficult dunks I've ever seen in my life, and he didn't get a 50 for it, which was weird. Mac McClung is now your 3-time champion. They're calling him the greatest dunker of all time. I don't want to take anything away from him, but number one, kind of a specialist. Number two, there's just a lot of guys that didn't compete 3 times. I would love to find a way. You saw Zach LaVine perhaps on social media. John Morant was kind of coaxing people to come out of retirement. I think the dunk contest can come back and be something. But in order for the dunk contest to be something, you have to have the best dunkers in the league. And no offense, they don't have those right now participating. You need to have John Morant in the dunk contest. You need to have Zach LaVine in the dunk contest. You need to have, I don't know how Shaedon Sharpe wasn't in the dunk contest unless he was hurt. If you watch the NBA and you're familiar with Shaedon Sharpe at all, he might be the most powerful dunker in the league. The guy certainly has some of, if not the best hops in the entire league. Stephon Castle belongs in there, but imagine the dunk contest and how that would change if it was truly only open to all-stars. Just saying. And I want to talk a little bit more because we got a break. I just want to talk a little bit more about the All-Star game coming up a little bit later, because I do want to talk about the format, and I think there's some tweaks to make it a very, very cool thing as well. But we will pause. We'll take a very quick 1-minute break. When we come back, 3 for Madness. We'll get to that next.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sacktown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Sacktown Sports app.
Hey, everybody, it's your boy Drapes, Kyle Draper from Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. All right, I know what you're thinking. Here we go again, another Drapes commercial for his guys and girls down there at Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. But trust me, listen to this. Whether you're in the market for a new vehicle or a pre-owned vehicle, Mercedes-Benz of Stockton, they'll take care of you. Trust me, they got certified pre-owned vehicles starting at 3.49 APR on select 2021, 22, and 23 models. And take it from me, when you go to Mercedes-Benz of Stockton, you leave out feeling like you're valued, like they trust you, like they care for you. Matter of fact, it's like they're your family. That's right. So for over 30 years, Mercedes-Benz of Stockton has been there for the entire community. And get this, it's not that far away, guys. Just a short drive down I-5, or of course, online anytime at mbfstockton.com. So head on down to Mercedes-Benz of Stockton and tell them Drape sent you.
3 questions, 3 answers. It's 3 for Madness on the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ros.
Here's question 1.
All righty. Thank you for joining us this morning. Let's see if we can catch up. I keep going over a little bit. Let's see if we can catch up and get back on time in this segment. Then coming up next, I want to bring up what I think can help this All-Star game, and also a lot of people saying what I completely understand. Why should we care when the players do not? Let's see what we can do to help the All-Star game in general. In the meantime, 3 for Madness, question 1.
What was your favorite thing about All-Star Weekend?
It was probably the game in the tournament, if you want to call it that I referred to, where you had the young guys facing off versus kind of the old heads, because I saw some competition there. It was coming down to the wire, and the young guys truly wanted to beat the other team, and you could tell. And there were a couple of fouls late. There was legit defense. There was pressure. It felt for a minute or two like a real basketball game. And just for a flash in time, I think they cracked a little bit of the code, or at least found a light at the end of the tunnel. They just have to tweak a few things, and we'll talk about that in the next segment. But for the first time in a long time, I felt true competition and ego and all that stuff you want. I saw that in that game, and then of course it piddled away. But I think there's something after they look. You got to give the NBA credit at least, and I'm talking about the powers that be. They're trying to figure it out. They're messing with it. They're messing with the format. They're acknowledging. It's one of the things I like about Adam Silver. He's not afraid to say this ain't working. We got to tweak with it. We got to mess around with it. We're going to try things. We're going to try the NBA Cup. We're going to add in the play-in. We're going to mess with the All-Star game format. And some might argue they're doing too much, and that's part of the reason why people are having this conversation about the NBA. I disagree. I think they're very good at identifying most, not all, but most things that are a problem, and they're trying to solve it. It's not an easy thing. You're trying to please a lot of people. No matter what you do, you're going to piss off some of those people. I admire what they're trying to do with the All-Star game, but I don't think they're there yet. But favorite part of the weekend was that 5 minutes of gameplay at the very end when they were racing to 40, where it did seem like they were actually playing. Question number 2, please, Chris.
Question 2.
They get the dunk contest right?
I think they got the dunk contest as right as they could based on who was there. Look, I don't even remember. There was like some dude from Milwaukee and then some guy I can't even remember that were in the dunk. It was Stephon Castle and it was Matt McClung. That's what people remember. And I enjoyed the face-off between the two of them. This wasn't Zach LaVine and Aaron Gordon, and it, of course, wasn't Michael Jordan, Dominique Wilkins, but it was a face-off between two dudes that knew what they were doing and are incredible dunkers. By the way, I don't know if I'm the only one, and I'm not trying to relitigate this. Just, can everybody be honest in the chat, in the text? Was anybody watching the dunk contest and going, God, I wish we could have gotten Stephon Castle?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, thank you. I'm not the only one. Like, the more I watch that guy, and he's going to be one of those guys that I keep a side eye on, probably for most of his career, just because I'm thinking, man, imagine if we could have gotten Stephon Castle in that deal. I think, and good on the Spurs, by the way. I get it. Good for them. But anyway, I digress. I think they got it right, but I'll go back to what I said at the end of the last segment. I wish you could. I don't know if it's that you limit it only to all-stars. I don't know if you push up the prize money, get a huge sponsor, and make it for charity and pressure the players. But I think we're having a whole different conversation about the slam dunk contest if you have what are perceived to be the best dunkers in the NBA and the biggest names. The Ja Morants, LeBron's not going to do it, but the Jaws, the Shaden Sharps, hell, Malik Monk's a great dunker. But if you were able to do that, I think that would be incredibly interesting, and we'd have a whole different conversation. Because the question you got to ask yourself is this: are you more entertained by guys like Mac McClung, who are on basic two-way deals? I say this with all love and respect, because and let me say this about Mac McClung. I saw something where it's like he's made more money, I think $300,000 off the dunk contests than he has in his NBA/G League career, or at least it's comparable. And then that car he dunked over, he got that car and he donated it to charity. Like, I have nothing but love for Mac McClung, but he's, again, with respect, he's barely an NBA player. He's a fringe NBA player. If we're going to do that, let's just bring in some dude perfect types that do nothing but exhibition dunks and go for the all time. Let's bring in some street dunkers and have fun that way. I don't think it's necessarily that people want to see the best dunks. I think that's about 25% of it. I think you want to see the best personalities facing off and competing against each other. I would rather see dunks at an 8 out of 10, but have Ja Morant going against whoever, than having Mac McClung and Fred McGillicuddy doing 10s. I don't know. Maybe I'm in the minority. So I get it. I see where they're going, but I think you need more star power in the dunk contest. And when the dunk contest was at its peak, which was probably Michael Jordan, Dominique Wilkins at the United Center, that was probably the peak of dunking. Even more than the Vince Carter in 2000, even more than LaVine and Gordon, because that came out of nowhere. You had Michael Jordan going against Dominique Wilkins. You had the best of the best in there, the biggest names. Michael Jordan was the biggest name in the sport by far. And his thing was, I'm taking this dunk contest. I think you need to get back to that if it's possible. Saying it and doing it, two completely different things. Number 3, please.
Question 3.
Was LeBron selfish in announcing he wasn't playing same day?
Yes, he was. I'm gonna put an asterisk on there though. The only possible defense, and I'm stretching and doing mental gymnastics here because I don't know. The only question I have is, was LeBron James influenced at all by the NBA to not announce until
that's what I'm thinking.
That's the thing. I don't know. I can't prove it. But also LeBron James has the power to be like, no, I'm going to look like a total ding dong here. I'm not doing it. So I'm not going to absolve him completely of blame, even if the NBA asked him not to say anything. It sucks, man. It sucks. And yeah, I'm a little biased because I feel Domantas Sabonis should have been the replacement for Anthony Davis. He wasn't. It was Kyrie Irving. Okay, fine. Surely, though, if LeBron James wasn't playing, you could have had Domantas Sabonis in there. Like, it's not just the fact that it's $1.5 million for Sabonis, and we'll get into this more a little bit later. It's the Kings are just frozen out of All-Star Weekend, just an irrelevant franchise, frozen out of All-Star Weekend, frozen out of the national play. And if you're sitting there and you're saying, what do I care about national coverage? What do I care about this or that? Again, this goes to culture and players wanting or not wanting to play here and getting rid of the reputation, well-deserved, that this is a basketball outpost, that careers go to either be put on hold or die. And that's something we obviously have been dealing with, that conversation with De'Aaron Fox exiting. You want these players to be relevant. You want them in the spotlight. It just helps. And so that was unfortunate. It was pretty lame of LeBron James to do. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll finish up on All-Star Weekend as far as adjusting it. I have a couple of ideas as well. We also need to get to the hockey inside the NBA, where that's going and what that means, the Daytona 500, the athletics of Oakland, of Sacramento, of Northern California, and all that stuff. We got a lot to get to. Sit back, relax. We're back in just 3 minutes.
You never know what you might hear when listening to a Sacramento Kings game.
Out of Keegan, going for another triple. Man, is he feeling it. Keegan, can he do it? Yes, there's number 11, Keegan Murray. Keegan steps back. He just knocked down his 12th three-pointer, a Kings franchise record. He's got 45 points.
Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with Sacktown Sports and the Sacktown Sports app.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Folsom Lake Kia.
I'm meteorologist Kelly Curran in the KCRA 3 Weather Center. We may see some areas of patchy morning fog, otherwise mostly sunny to start the day, with temperatures starting out in the low 40s, highs this afternoon in the mid-60s. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA 3 News and the KCRA app.
Coach Christie here with the winning play for you. Shop Folsom Lake Kia right now for low payments and zero down deals with approved credit. Go see my friends and upgrade your ride today, or shop FolsomLakeKia.com.
Is your garage door stuck in the winter blues? Well, February is the perfect time to give it some love. Jason Ros here to tell you about the Overhead Door Company of Sacramento. And they're here to keep your garage door running smoothly. This February, they're spreading the love with their Sweetheart Special, $150 off a garage door with the purchase of a garage door opener. Now, the experts at Overhead Door Company of Sacramento provide fast, reliable service that's always on time and always done right. From squeaky hinges to full door replacements, they've got you covered. So don't let your garage door be the heartbreaker this season. Visit overheaddoorofsacramento.com for your free estimate. You can get in touch with them at 916-421-3747. Overhead Door Company of Sacramento, opening doors to your home and your hearts this February and all throughout the year. Overhead Door Company of Sacramento, the genuine, the original overhead door. Always look for the red ribbon logo.
Cheer on the Sacramento Kings in the stretch run of the season. Now through February 21st, enjoy no fees on Kings tickets for all upcoming games, including matchups against the Warriors, Spurs, Cavaliers, and Celtics. That's right, no fees, just savings. Catch the Beam Team with new addition, two-time All-Star Zach LaVine and experience the thrill of Kings basketball at Golden One Center. Seats are going fast. Don't wait to get your tickets with no fees. Visit kings.com/no fees to grab your tickets today.
Sacramento's premier country music festival, Country in the Park, is coming back May 16th and 17th at Cal Expo with Bailey Zimmerman, Billy Currington, Cole Wetzel, Nate Smith, and more. You'll enjoy food trucks, rock walls, and a mechanical bull, line dancing, and more. Single-day GA tickets start at $52 at CITPFest.com. Country in the Park, May 16th and 17th with the California Army National Guard. Find out more at CITPFest.com.
At Stockton Honda, we know how to honor a great deal. Like right now, during our President's Day sales event, you can find star-spangled savings on some of our best models. Why not stop in today and see for yourself? Save thousands with low APR financing and great lease rates on over 500 new Hondas at Stockton Honda.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
The only place in the morning to get your sports fix.
Live and local.
The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ros.
Welcome back. Dwayne in the chat saying something that caught my eye as we continue this all-star conversation. LeBron and Anthony Edwards, let's not forget Edwards was out with, he was sick. They showed what players really think about us lowly, petty fans. They don't care. They act like they do, but they're bad actors. Players say one thing in the public and pretend to be advocates for certain things, but it's all about what they can get, not give. They don't see us as their customers. WWE athletes get it. NBA players don't. NHL players get it too. I would also say NASCAR for all the conversation we're going to have about that. I would say NASCAR drivers generally get it. I think it's a very salient point. I would say one thing. It's always dangerous when you paint with a broad brush. There are plenty of NBA players that are truly good dudes that reach out, do a ton of charitable stuff, and that don't take the fans serious or don't take the fans for granted. There are. But I think his point stands. Here's my response to that, though. And I mean this with all the love of somebody who feels very similar to Dwayne about this sometimes. What are you going to do about it? Like, what leverage do you have? I don't mean you, Dwayne. I mean you, the Royal. What? You're right. What are you going to do about it? You going to stop watching? For all this talk about what's wrong with the game of basketball, for all this talk about this and that, whatever. Here's a news flash. The NBA, if the NFL didn't exist, the NBA would be the juggernaut. Every aspect that matters when it comes to the NBA, every aspect continues to grow. Tickets rise, attendances rise. These TV deals that they just signed are incredibly huge. Valuations of teams continue to skyrocket. We're about to get 2 expansion teams, almost certainly Seattle and Las Vegas. And for a couple of years, we've been saying that's going to be a $5 billion expansion fee. It's probably now leaning more towards a $6 billion expansion fee. That's $1 billion over a couple of years. They're going to jack it up because people will pay it. I see 818 agent on here saying, well, some people stop watching. That's why ratings are down. Ratings are a tough thing to quantify, guys, because you have so many different ways to watch the sport. It's very difficult to look just at straight ratings and make a conclusion because you have so many different aspects and so many ways to watch it. Some people watch games. Some people watch games illegally. Some people watch games in groups. Some people they watch the NBA a lot like I watch SNL. If really awesome things happened, I'll see it on social media. And the NBA is the best, maybe in the world, at utilizing social media and making it something that people watch. There are just some people that watch for that, and then they tune in for the playoffs. But make no mistake about it, the NBA is incredibly healthy and thriving. So the question is, well, what are you going to do? These players are making 50, 40, 30, $20 million a year. They're making so much money. And the way they're making that money is on your backs. You're paying to go watch the games. You're buying the popcorn for $8 and the beer for $11 and the parking for $25. And if you're not doing that and you're at home, you're watching the TV and you're obviously buying the products. Maybe not you, sir, and maybe not you, ma'am, but the royal you is buying the products. You know, I know this because there are metrics that these advertisers have that show the response rates, that show the activation rates that come directly off of these commercials, whether it's on a local level like NBC Sports California or whether it's on a national level like TNT or soon to be NBC. Do replays on social media count as ratings? No, they don't. Yeah, it's a whole aspect of the sport that people view that do not count for ratings, but it counts for growing the game, and a lot of these are advertised. There's entire cottage industries off of social media. So my response is probably not, how do you fix it? Well, I don't know. Because, and I'm not trying to get back into the fan union conversation that we constantly dip in and out of, but until something like that happens, fans have no leverage. You do. The fans do have leverage. They just don't realize it. They don't. You have to organize. And until that happens, until fans have a seat at the table, until fans can stage actual boycotts, a lot of this stuff is going to happen. All you have to do is look in Dallas. Look at Dallas. Dallas just screwed their fans more than any other team has screwed their fans in an American sport in a long, long time, not counting a relocation. I mean, they got screwed. Fans are still going to show up. They're still going to watch. They'll be there next year. They're watching at home. They say they're not. They are. And, you know, we throw the term sheep around a lot in today's day and age, but honest to God, that is the ultimate sheep situation. And I'm not, hey, look, I get paid to do this. I'm the biggest sheep. I'm not talking down to anybody. We're all in this together. Just saying, that's what it is. You'll continue to watch. You will continue to watch, and you will like it. You may bitch about it a little bit. Like I said, I don't think anything Dwayne said was out of pocket. I agree with everything he said. But yeah, how are you supposed to get dudes making $50 million a year? You're supposed to get them to care about an exhibition? Here's what I would do to fix or to adjust next year the All-Star game itself. First off, when it comes to the weekend, I would 100% have an NBA player and a WNBA player in an exhibition. Much like we talked a little bit about hockey, and how when you go country on country, it brings in a whole different level. Battle of the Sexes is always something that's incredibly fun. It can get ugly and stupid, but it's also something incredibly fun. So latch on to that. It doesn't have to be Steph Curry and Sabrina Ionescu, but it can be this guy and that girl. It could be a team of guys and girls. I don't know, but do that. Dunk contest, I would work on getting more star power in there, and I don't know how you motivate that, or even if you can, but I think that's the key. But for the All-Star game itself, I think they're on to something. But I think you need to quit screwing around like you had Team Candace and Shaq and Charles, whatever. Don't do that. Just do the teams like they were advertised. Do the OGs, the prime times, the guys that are, the Jaylen Browns and Jason Tatums, the guys that are in their prime right now. The OGs would be the LeBrons and the Kevin Durants, et cetera, et cetera. Do the internationals, the Luka Doncic's, the Nikola Jokic's, et cetera. And then combine your rising stars. Take the best out of the rookies and sophomores. Make an all-star team out of that one, an all-star of those two sections, and then have them all face off and do some trash talking beforehand. Get the egos involved, because if there's one thing that can cut through all the privilege and all the money that these guys have, it's when their egos are on the line. And I saw the glimpse of that, as I said, on Sunday, when it was the young guys versus the OGs. So do that, because prize money ain't going to cut it. You got these guys, you're gonna ask them to actually break a real sweat and play full out for what, $1 million? To you and me, that's life-changing money. To them, that's a line item in their tax return. That's what I would do. That's what I would focus on, and I think they're on to something. I wouldn't mind a one-on-one, as some people are saying. I wouldn't mind a one-on-one at all. I also wouldn't mind changing up the venue. Somebody said play it outdoors in a football stadium. That'd be cool. I don't know if that would work. The problem is you got to deal with the elements. It would have to be in a good weather place. I don't think you could pull that off in most of the country. It would have to be a Hawaii or a Florida or something like that. So I don't know if we're going to be able to do that, but I would focus on that. And then lastly, USA versus the world. I think we're almost there. And I saw somebody suggest maybe we take last year's NBA champions and put them up against whoever an international champion. I would love to see that. I just don't see if I don't know if the Boston Celtics hierarchy would go for their team effectively playing an extra game so they could beat the hell out of whoever the international champions are. But I would love to see that whole argument be put to bed. What do you call them, the world champ? They are the world champions. Shut up. Lastly, actually, I know I just said that. One thing, because I have seen some questions about this. You're seeing the finalists now out for, I want to say, the 2028 All-Star game. And every year when you see this, you see people ask, where is Sacramento? I'm just here to tell you again, and I hate saying it every year, Sacramento is nowhere near close to getting an all-star game. It's almost certainly not going to happen in my lifetime unless somebody comes up with the magic cracked code to figure it out, as they almost did about 10 years ago with the cruise ship. But it's the hotel space and lack thereof that is screwing Sacramento, and it's why you see places like Orlando, which is a similar demo to Sacramento, but that is a destination city. It is a resort city. They have plenty of hotel rooms. Same thing in Salt Lake City, plenty of hotel rooms. You just don't have that here. So unless somebody wants to build about 15 more 5,000 room hotels, we got a problem. And it's too bad, because God, an all-star game would be so amazing in the city of Sacramento in every other way. We'll take a break. When we come back, as we continue to catch up on the program, they said goodbye to Inside the NBA yesterday, but why? Because they're still here. And is it going to be weird next year on NBC? Let's pause and get a little bit into that coming up next. What's weird is paying full pop to get your furnace checked out. It's paying full pop to get a tune-up on your furnace. Don't do that. Why would you do that when you have American Energy Heating and Air around? A company that is reputable, that's been around since 1981, that has an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. Why would you possibly go anywhere else? I don't understand it. I've been telling you guys almost every day for years and years and years. My friends at American Energy do everything right. And it's not just because I'm their commercial guy. I've used them 3 times on my house, including a couple 4th of Julys ago when my AC went absolutely out, and they were there the same day on the 4th of July. I've used them for my mother-in-law. I've used them for my parents. The amount of people I have recommended this to is insane. I would never ask you to use something or go to a company that I don't use myself. That's one of my big rules, and everybody in our sales staff knows that. I I have to know them, and I have to have a relationship with them, and I have to utilize them myself before I ask you. I've done a lot of things wrong in my career over 20 plus years. One thing, knock on wood, I have never done is steered you wrong when it comes to an endorsement. $49 tune-up, but if your system is 5 years or older, it's free. If you need a repair on your furnace, $50 off your first repair. If you need a new furnace, half off. It's that simple. No gimmicks. 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990. AmericanEnergyAir.com. American Energy, making the uncomfortable comfortable. Inside the NBA, on the move. We'll talk about it next.
You never know what you might hear when listening to a Sacramento Kings game.
Out of Keegan, going for another triple. Man, is he feeling it. Keegan, can he do it? Yes, there's number 11, Keegan Murray. Keegan steps back. He just knocked down his 12th three-pointer, a Kings franchise record. He's got 45 points.
Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with Sacktown Sports and the Sacktown Sports app.
Hello, Sacramento. I'm Emran Pilati, owner of True Sports Cards and Collectible Store here in Rockland, California, and the host of the True Sports Cards Show that airs right here on Sacktown Sports 1140 every Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m., where we discuss the latest trends, hottest products, and deliver exclusive interviews with other industry leaders. And don't forget to visit our shop, True Sports Cards, at 6661 Stanford Ranch Road in Rockland and see what we have for all your sports card and memorabilia needs.
Finally, an easy way to find home improvement contractors. Just visit subcontractorsunited.com and simplify your search for home services professionals. From cabinets to windows, roofing to plumbing, Subcontractors United is an easy, simple way to find and hire a home improvement contractor. And you never have to give up personal information. So no harassing phone calls like you get from those other websites. Subcontractorsunited.com is sponsored by D&D Cabinets and Savage Design.
I'm Sia, and I support Humane World for Animals, formerly called the Humane Society of the United States. Together, we have created a new version of Peter Gabriel's beautiful song, Salisbury Hill, to celebrate Humane World for Animals and everything they do. Enjoy the song and join us in helping Humane World for Animals end animal cruelty.
Check engine light on? Take the guesswork out of your check engine light with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
We could all use more time. Amazon Business offers smart business buying solutions so you can spend more time growing your business and less time doing the admin. I can see why they call it smart. Learn more at AmazonBusiness.com.
Hey, what's up? We're talking to Chad Hoblet of Hoblet Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, and Woodland. What's happening, Chad, for the President's Day sales event?
Get the presidential treatment and savings with up to $16,000 off MSRP on new 2025 Ram 1500 crew cabs. With over 400 new Ram trucks available, your truck is waiting at the Hoblet Ram Truck Center.
$16,000 off MSRP on the new 2025s. That's not what I was expecting.
We aren't trying to sell you last year's leftovers. When you need a good deal on the newest truck, Hoblet needs to be your first stop. Plus, check out the huge selection of certified pre-owned vehicles at the Hoblet Certified Pre-Owned Supercenter. With over 220 vehicles available and 40 under $20,000.
Search, select, and save through their whole inventory at HobletDodge.com. Unbeatable prices, unbeatable selection. Nobody beats Hoblet, period.
$16,000 total net savings on select new 2025 Ram 1500 after $9,000 factory rebates and $7,000 dealer discounts. Rebates include $2,000 Chrysler Capital bonus cash. Must finance through Chrysler. And on-the-job $500 upfit incentive. Must show business ownership and $500 upfit. 5 of this net savings. See dealer for details.
Carmichael Dave. He has very good sources, and he just kind of tells it as it is and gets to the point.
Jason Ros.
He has a lot of pretty smart things to say. He's good at what he does.
On Sacktown Sports.
Always good to come back to the One Good Smith song. Carmichael Dave. Chris Roulade. Jason will be back tomorrow. Sorry, I should clean up your texts at 441140. Excuse me, 916-339-1140. Let's see here. The NBA can go to hell. It's dead. NBA has never been more profitable or healthier, so that's not happening anytime soon. From the 916, is the NBA punishing Sacramento for not allowing the Kings to relocate to Seattle by shutting the team out of All-Star Weekend? No, it's not a conspiracy. And by the way, the NBA helped block that relocation along with their owners who voted for it, so they wouldn't be mad at us. No, it's hotel rooms. It's just hotel rooms. From the 916, baseball is now the Dodgers and the Giants and nothing else. That's why it's disinteresting to watch, because teams are allowed to buy who they want with no cap, which is ridiculous. I would say that the Giants, the Giants suck. What are you talking about? It's the Dodgers, but I would also say the Yankees and some other teams have something to say about that. I do agree there needs to be a hard cap in baseball. That is, and no more deferred money. That's stupid. Dave, will you address Draymond's comments on the Rising Stars? Yeah, what did he say? Let me bring that up here. He blasted the NBA All-Star format. He says it sucks. What did he say? Did he say anything specific? I had to work so hard to play on Sunday night of All-Star Weekend. And because ratings are down, we're bringing in Rising Stars. That's not a fix. I never played the Rising Stars game my first 2 years. I didn't touch that game. And these guys get to touch the All-Star floor on Sunday nights. Let's see what else here. You work to be an All-Star and you get to play up to 40 and then you're done. It's so unfair to Wembanyama, who took this game very seriously. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander took this game really seriously. When you're talking about chasing after the points record, Melo and Kobe, all these guys who had great scoring nights, they don't get the opportunity to do that with this style of game. So all we can do is watch some Rising Stars. Now we get the treat of watching the Olympic team play an under-19 team. What are we doing? I don't know about that. He called it a 0. I don't know. I'm not immune to Draymond Green making good points, even though I don't like him. But I do enjoy some of this stuff he says about as an analyst. But I look, first off, Rising Stars isn't incredibly new. I don't mind seeing Rising Stars. They're the Rising Stars. Number 2, Draymond, talk to your friends then, because nobody wants to do this. They want to show up. The NBA players are more interested in here's the facts. NBA players are more interested in the All-Star game because of the financial bonuses in their contracts and the fact that a lot of endorsements will go that, like, the requirement from an advertiser will be an All-Star, a current All-Star player, and it opens up completely new revenue sources for you and for those that surround you. So they fly in and their entire weekend is paid appearances. As a matter of fact, I got here, guys. And then Sean and Chris, I see on the phone lines. We'll get to you in a second. Let me do this here, and I'm going to edit some of it. I actually got a hold of a schedule for a current player. Okay. Current player. This is not counting any of the playing of anything. This is just the schedule. Okay. Friday, 11:30 a.m. This is Friday of All-Star Weekend. Private transportation arrives. They're taken to a private plane where they're flying out of. Again, I won't give you the city. I don't want to give away the player. Player arrives in San Francisco, checks into a 5-star hotel, meets with an NBA representative 4 hours later in the lobby, and then gets private transport to an event at one of the piers, and then also transported to the to a concert experience there as well, which is a paid event. Saturday, the car arrives at the hotel. Then they're going to, again, I don't want to give away the advertisers here. I don't want anybody doing I don't want to violate a confidence, but they get a car that takes them to a major advertiser event that goes for an hour. Then they go to a signing for a major sporting goods manufacturer. Then they go to a signing for a major card manufacturer. Then they do a paid podcast appearance. And then they do a round on ESPN before dinner. Sunday, paid signing, paid event following, paid appearance following that. All I've done in reading this verbatim is I've just taken out the advertisers and I've taken out the actual playing of the game and all that stuff. That's what this is. This is to most of your players. They want to go to All-Star game weekend because it's a lot of money. They're making a lot of contacts. They're signing a lot of deals. It's a whole business thing. And then, oh, by the way, there's a game. And then, oh, by the way, there's a game. The game is a sideshow. And every owner is out there, or not every owner, but most of them, they've got their own little show. I know Vivek had a party out there with players and celebrities and all that stuff. And he's far from the only owner, by the way, to do that. It's almost like a mini Super Bowl, if you will. Chris wants to know how much do they pay them at those events. I don't know about those specific events I mentioned, but I will tell you this much. I know of, for example, one NBA player over All-Star weekend, current NBA player, All-Star caliber, but not even top 10 player in the NBA. Private plane shows up in the town he plays in, flew him to San Francisco, and I think he had 2 signings, 3 public appearances, and he shot 2 commercials, and it was $6 million for the weekend, all said and done. $6 million.
So you're saying that the monetization of everything makes things worse?
Shut up, Chris. We'll take a break. When we come back, Sean and Chris, I see you. We'll get to you right at the top if you're nice enough to hold through the break, and we appreciate you holding this long. We will get to Sean and Chris, and we'll get into the rest of this topic coming up right after this.
The only place you'll find Malik Monk is Sacktown Sports.
Oh my, what an athletic move that time by Malik Monk.
Hey Sacramento, it's Malik Monk, and you're listening to the home of the Sacramento Kings, Sacktown Sports.
Your local sports leader.
All the searching, screening, and interviewing can become a job itself. You need Indeed, the all-in-one platform that makes it easy to interview, screen, and hire quality people. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Everyone has a past, but what happens if you've made mistakes and made good on that past, but it keeps following you? Are you looking for an attorney to erase past records and restore your rights? Maybe even restore your gun rights? Do you need a reputable criminal defense attorney who knows even good people make bad mistakes? Well, the attorneys at Gonzalez Law Office are here to help. Find Gonzalez Law Office online at saclegaldefense.com or call them at 916-304-9187. We don't settle for less, and neither should you.
Hi, welcome to Staples. Hi, I hear Staples can print it all for my business. Oh, if you can think it, Staples can print it and will beat any print quote. Oh, great. I'm thinking new brochures and yard signs. No problem. I'm thinking calendars, t-shirts, and pens. Totally. I'm thinking Staples is the place for printing. I thought you might think that.
Right now at Staples, get up to $250 off your print purchase. Ends 4/5 exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for offer details. Price match guarantee valid in store and staples.com/print. Visit staples.com/price match for details.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer? Can we sleep cooler? Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. And now save 50% on the new Sleep Number limited edition smart bed. Limited time. Exclusively at a Sleep Number store near you. Learn more at sleepnumber.com. Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer? Can we sleep cooler? Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. And now save 50% on the new Sleep Number limited edition smart bed. Limited time. Exclusively at a Sleep Number store near you. Learn more at sleepnumber.com.
Need a little home makeover to get through the last few weeks of winter?
Kohl's is having a big sale, so you can give your home a reset. Plus, Kohl's Rewards members save an extra 15% on so much to refresh your space, like stylish decor, cozy pillows, convenient storage, and so much more. So hurry to Kohl's to snag your savings before the secret's out. Select styles. Kohl's Rewards 15% off coupon valid through March 2nd. Must be a Kohl's Rewards member. Exclusions apply. Visit a store or Kohl's.com for details.
Live and local.
With everything 49ers.
Intercepted by Fred Warner. Dives for the end zone. Touchdown! San Francisco! On ball, George went up and caught the ball. Touchdown!
The 49ers play on Sacktown Sports 1140.
KHD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
Sacramento's official home of the 49ers.
San Francisco!
Sacktown Sports 1140. The Carmichael Dave Show.
He's on the microphone when he's not on the microphone. He's playing a song, and when he's not playing a song, he's on the microphone, and then boom.
With Jason Ros.
No, he didn't. Yes, he did.
Call or text at 916-339-1140.
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ros on Sacktown Sports.
Welcome back. Carmichael Dave, Jason Ros will be back tomorrow. Enjoying all of you with us today as we're kind of going around things. Yeah, thank you very much. As promised, at 1-800-920-1140. If you want to be heard, you will be heard. Let's start with Sean. He's been holding the longest. Then we'll get to Chris. Sean, it's Carmichael Dave, Christopher Laud. Good morning.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Thanks for having me. So I just wanted to touch on the NASCAR weekend and the All-Star game. Sorry about that. My son's just getting out of the car to go to school.
All good.
So I feel like NASCAR missed an opportunity to kind of like grab some of those casual fringe fans. First missed opportunity was Friday night when the NASCAR Truck Series race was ending. And by the way, it was a very good race. They were coming into the tri-oval at the end of the race, and there was a pretty big wreck, which typically happens at those restrictor plate races. And it happened about maybe 150 yards before the start-finish line. And they called the yellow flag right before the drivers crossed the finish line. And so they had this huge confusion as who won the race. The guy who actually crossed the line first ends up not winning because the yellow flag comes out and it basically negated the finish. But then you flash forward to the Daytona 500 and there's the big accident in turn 3 on the last lap, and they let those guys race all the way to the checkered flag to determine the winner. And I feel like, you miss an opportunity to really grab those fans with a great finish on Friday night, and it shows some of the lack of consistency with the sport as far as when to call the caution, when not to call the caution, because of safety and blah, blah, blah. So that was my one gripe with that. The other gripe is they need to make the cars line up better so when they're bump drafting, they're not crashing each other all the time. So basically, when you go to Daytona, you're watching these guys drive around for 190 laps doing absolutely nothing because nobody can pass, nobody can bump draft, and at the end of the race, when it gets exciting, everybody starts crashing because the cars don't line up right. So that's one way that NASCAR needs to get fans. When it goes to the All-Star game, sorry, I know I don't have a lot of time, so I'm trying to speak fast. All-Star game needs to just go back to the normal format, East versus West, and, incentivize these guys financially. Obviously, you said these guys make a lot of money with signings and stuff and doing these appearances on that weekend. But go back to the regular format. Let these guys play. But what the biggest thing they need to do is make it inclusive to every team. Every team should have a representative. Sacramento Kings don't have a representative. We have great players. Well, we had great players. We have a great player with the bonus. And we don't get an opportunity to be represented at the All-Star game. The other thing is make the All-Star games allowed to go to other cities. I know you mentioned Sacramento doesn't have a lot of hotels, maybe in the city, but I don't buy that there's not enough hotels in the metro area to be able to support something like the All-Star game. You have the Bay Area, which is relatively close. They can absorb some of those hotel rooms, but that's the way that you want to fix the NBA. It's make it inclusive to all the fans, because me as a Sacramento Kings fan, I had no reason to watch the game. There was none of my players there. That's all I have. Thank you guys for your time. You have a great rest of your day, and I love the show.
Hey, hold on. Hey, before you go, can I ask you a quick question about the NASCAR thing?
Yeah.
And we'll go over what you said when you hang up. But I just, again, I'm not a NASCAR guy. I know this is a stupid question. I watched
Only stupid question is the one you don't ask.
Okay. So I know that you get points for leading at certain lap intervals, right? I know that. But when you mentioned the whole, like, everybody just kind of pitters around for the whole thing, and then at the very end, everybody freaks out and they're 4 wide and everybody crashes, right? So, like, what if the way they determine the winner of the Daytona 500, for example, this is just an ignorant guy's take, is like, let's say every 50 laps you got like a massive amount, like a huge amount of points. Like, let's say you got 100 points, and then on the way down, 100 for first, 99. I don't know how you do it, right? For the first 50 laps, the second 50 laps, and you had this cumulative point total throughout the race, and then maybe you got 100 points for the final 50 laps. So, in other words, if you're the guy that's in first place when the checkered flag hits, maybe you win. You certainly get the 100 points, but there's a chance that if you just kind of piddled around for the first part of the race, you're already more than 100 points behind the guy that actually finishes in third. You know what I'm saying? Like, why not break that down to where the guy who gets the checkered flag in first isn't necessarily the winner, to encourage everybody to race harder throughout the race, because there's more than just wait till the end and don't be the guy that crashes.
Right, and I kind of see what you're saying. I mean, but they pretty much do that for the overall points for the championship.
Yeah.
So, during each, your stages, right?
Yeah.
You get points which go towards your championship run.
Yeah.
But the thing is, if you make the cars just line up so that they can push each other, the race will be exciting. These guys will actually race and make attempts to pass throughout the course of the race. The fact that they don't line up, they basically just sit around and they say, I want to survive to the end so I can have a shot. And at the moment they start bump drafted, because the cars don't line up, the front of the car is a little bit more rounded or pointy, they hook each other and then they crash. So that's why they never really do anything throughout these types of races, because they want to survive for those to make it to those last 10 laps, to just have an opportunity. And I think they just need to kind of fix some of those little things. I think the overall product is a great product if you're a NASCAR fan. But they can tweak it a little bit, make it back the way it was about 10 years ago.
Appreciate the call, brother. Thank you. Here's the other thing. Like, and again, I know that any NASCAR fan, don't gatekeep on me. I know that anybody who's a NASCAR fan is like listening to me and going, God, what a moron. I totally get it, dude. It's like me saying, like, if I didn't follow basketball, like, well, why don't they just let them walk with the ball? Why do they have to have, I get it. But what about this too? Here's the other thing that I kind of don't understand. Like, you have like the Toyota car and the Chevy and the Ford and all that, right? And they were talking about they were talking about how Toyota has made this big. Why don't they just give everybody the same car? Like, why doesn't every racer have the exact same car? Like, they can put their sponsor on it or whatever, but why not just give everybody the exact same car, and then it's 100% up to the driver, instead of like, oh, well, Kyle Ledbetter's got the Toyota 3 car, the Goodies Headache Powder 3 car, and it's the fastest car out there today. Like, well, why don't they just all have the exact same car that's like given out randomly? Like they have, like, I don't know how many people you have in a race, 50. Like, why don't they just have the 50 that qualified, right? Like, they get to go out the day of the race and just like pick based on pole position or whatever, and like, oh, I want this blue one, I want the green one, and and then they slap on their sponsor stickers, and then they go, and then so if I pick the blue car in the third row, and then my guys and then, or do it before qualifying, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you got to do that, then okay, and everybody has to use the same car with the same parts. So if you messed up your rack and pinion steering thing, or I don't know, whatever, I don't know car terms, then you gotta replace it with the same thing, and then everybody has the same car, like exactly the same car. I don't know. Also, do they have electric vehicle races? I'm just asking. Like, Do they? Do they? I'm just asking. Like, honestly, do they have electric vehicle races? Because that would actually be kind of funny too. Like, when 3 cars pull over, they have to charge, or just do it for like the duration of the charge. So if every car has a 300-mile charge on it, that's how long the race is. You go. It's the Daytona 300 electric version. And everybody's out there driving a Tesla or a Rivian or a Fisker or whatever. I don't know. Maybe they already have that. I would watch the electric car race. Probably be the same. But I'm just saying, like, are they? I've seen a lot of people saying they have the same car. Are they? Are they the same car? Are they the exact same car? Everything? Same tires, same engine, same spark plug, same whatever. I don't know. Same one. That way it's just like, who's the best driver? Oh, he's not better today because he's got the special car with the, super zoom turbo-y thing. I know I'm pissing off so many race fans right now. I'm not trying to. I'm just asking. I don't understand it. It's like playing basketball, but this one dude has like better shoes than everybody else on that day. Oh, look, Domantas Sabonis is up to 42 points because of the super springy shoes he's got. I'm just saying, make everything the same. The other thing he said about the All-Star game in the Bay Area and all that. Here's the deal. They're never setting that up. It will, in order to do an All-Star game, he said, why can't people just come from the Bay Area, have them stay there in the surround? No, everybody's got to be at the same 1 or 2 hotels. I'm talking about the players. And then you have and maybe you have the players staying in Sacramento and the media and everybody else stays outside. Yeah, they're never going to do that. Who's the other guy? We have Chris. We have somebody else on hold. Is it? I forget who.
Chris.
Chris, thank you. Chris, you're on the air. Good morning. How are you?
Morning, Dave. How you doing today?
Good, brother. How are you doing?
Good. I just wanted to touch on this the dunk contest real quick.
Yeah.
Hey, Max McClung put on, for the past 3 years, he's put on a great show. I think that's in part because the other dunkers haven't been too good. Castle was good this year. But does anyone not realize how he, just like you were talking about being an equal playing field on a NASCAR, you have to give everyone like a little trampoline, because McClung, he pushes off on every dunk to get that extra height. Does everyone not notice that?
Yeah, but I mean,
when he hits the shoulders and he grabs the ball and he elevates himself. I mean, that's kind of like a little, I don't know. It was a little funny to me.
Wait, hold on. I want to make sure I understand what you're saying, because on the surface, I'm like, yeah, dude, he's jumping. Like, everybody can do that.
Right. He jumps, but once he gets he grabs the ball, or if he's jumping over someone's shoulder, he pushes down and elevates himself more.
Okay, so you're saying when he grabbed the ball from dude's hands, that like dude was holding it above his head. You're saying when McClung got over him, he grabs the ball and then kind of pushes himself up to. I see what you're saying.
Correct.
I got you.
Right. And he does that every dunk, which I mean he's still great, but it's almost just like he gives himself an extra 3-4 inches once he gets way up there. That's how he the one where he stared at the rim.
Yeah.
He pushed himself up and then just paused, and you're like, whoa. But then you notice, he kind of did that, but it was still, he's still good. I just thought that was kind of funny. No one really notices that. I'll take your thoughts off the air.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, I would just say everyone else could do it too, but yeah. We got a break here. My dad texted me. I told you my dad's a huge NASCAR guy. So is my uncle. No, dude, that's great. I'm going to read this verbatim from my father, the person that brought me in this world, right? That's a really stupid idea to take brands out of NASCAR. A lot of fans are brand loyal. Manufacturers would get hosed out and lose all that advertising power for their brain. A lot of the same brand is dependent on the tuners and mechanics to make their individual car better. Stay in your own lane. Dad, I'm the guy you guys are trying to reach. I know it's a dumb question. I'm just asking questions, man. Jeez. See, I feel like NASCAR too is it's like every sport. UFC did the same thing where it's like, we don't care about growing the sport. We don't need new fans. In fact, we'd prefer to keep it to not new fans. and just don't change anything because you get new fans. The next thing you know, you're going to get new musical acts and God knows whatever advertisers. It's a very incestuous group, and I don't mean that in any other way other than they're very kind of NASCAR is because that's different, man. NASCAR is a whole different thing, and my dad's explained this to me before. Because if you're like a gearhead or something, so like I don't know anything about cars other than they take me places, right? But like my dad will be like, oh my God, 4 on the floor, shift on the fly, rack and pinion steering, the spark plug went to 1.21 gigawatts, and it's made like he knows what he's talking about, and I don't. And it's like listening, like when I have a musician friend or a dude who understands how to play music, and he's like, oh my God, you don't like Radiohead? How is that? Like the way they play their songs in the key of D, which nobody does with a sus4 thing, and I don't know what I'm talking about, but and I'm like, I don't care how they're playing it. I don't care that they're using a kazoo echoing out of a subwoofer. I care, is the song great? But I think for people that watch NASCAR, it's like, okay, here's my team, here's my driver, here's my brand I'm loyal to, and then what we're going to do is every year we're going to go to the race near us. We're going to take our RV. We're going to camp. We're going to sit around and play our music and or listen to our music and drink burrs and hang out with all our other friends and drink burrs. And then we're going to go to the race and we're going to watch the race. But the race is really just the culmination of a weekend of drinking burrs with our friends. That's fine. I just think it's like NASCAR is like the closest thing sports has to Deadheads, where it like the concert is great and they all love the Grateful Dead, but it's also the experience itself. I could be wrong. I can think of few things worse to do with my free time than sitting around in the summertime watching a bunch of cars turning left for 3.5 hours. But that's me. And I get it. I would rather watch a bumper cars race. That would be fun. We'll take a break. 1-800-920-1140. God dang, man. Dad just trashed me there. 1-800-920-1140. 916-339-1140. The selfishness of LeBron James, A's baseball, and inside the NBA going to going to NBC or wherever the hell. Where are they going? ESPN? Yeah, that. We'll do that next.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sacktown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Sacktown Sports app.
At Wells Fargo, we know what got you into your business. Whether it's manufacturing, running a restaurant, or your business from home. What you didn't get into your business for was banking. But luckily, Wells Fargo offers business checking, payments, and lending all in one place, in your neighborhood and on our app, so you can focus on doing what you love. Wells Fargo, you're good at business, we're good at business banking. Learn more at wellsfargo.com/business. Terms apply. Wells Fargo Bank and a member FDIC.
When an overwhelmed injury victim calls Ashton or Price, we immediately remove their legal burden and introduce them to the very best medical care in the region. They focus on their health and we handle all the rest. When they reach the end of their medical journey and are reunited with happiness and hope, we unleash our decades of legal experience to obtain maximum compensation. We are real, local, experienced litigators and snappy dressers too. Consultation's free and there's never a fee until we win.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton and Price.
The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ros.
Call or text at 916-339-1140.
On Sacktown Sports.
Never fails. I've been doing this 20 years, and man, NASCAR Nation just rising up. I want to get into it. I've always wanted to get into it. It's a family. It's in my family. It's a family tradition. I just can't. I want to. I tried it. I tried getting a driver, Kyle Larson. That's who my dad likes. He's local. And then I gotta know what else there is. I'm not trying to simplify it, but like I watch for 3 hours cars going around in a circle. And I have an internal battle because the most entertaining thing about the cars going around in the circle is the crashes. And I'm going, oh my God, look at all the crashes. The internal battle is because I don't want anyone to crash. I don't want anybody getting hurt. But how do you justify, how do you reconcile those two things? The most entertaining thing is the crashes, but, and I'll admit here, let me be real for a second. Like, it's almost like wrestling. I may not be a wrestling fan, but you'll never hear me say these guys aren't athletes, and you'll never hear me say that they don't have massive amounts of skill. It's the same thing with like NASCAR in the sense that I may not be into it, but you'll never hear me say that what they do isn't insanely skilled. Like, you're driving this wrapped piece of tinfoil around a track at 200 miles an hour, going in circles with 30 other cars going 200 miles an hour in circles, and they're like bumping you and trying to pass you and all the aerodynamics and science that goes into it. Like, I have a lot of respect for what race car drivers do. It's insane. It really is. It's amazing. I if I ever tried it, I might hit 90 miles an hour, and then I'd start to get a little freaked out. I get asked every single year to go out to is it Sears Point and do one of them ride-alongs with a driver where you sit in the passenger seat and they take you around. And my dad yells at me every single year because no, I don't want to do that.
That's isn't that the track where you're not going all that fast?
Yeah, right. Isn't that like the road track? And that's another thing, like the road track, that actually seems like it would be more interesting because it's not all circles and you have to like shift gears and do things more often. But I don't know. I've never found the key to it. Hockey and NASCAR are the two things that have eluded me. And Sean, I see in the chat, who's obviously a fan, he says, it's more than turning left, Dave. It's literally being on the edge of losing control for 200 plus laps, trying not to crash and die. Like, dude, I hear you. I do. But when I'm at home on TV watching it, I'm just like, they're turning left and they're going really fast. But and I'm sure it's a lot like hockey, where if you're in person and you see the car and you feel the wind going meow, meow. Like my dad's favorite thing, he gets giddy over it, is what's the segment called where the announcers shut up and they tell you to turn up the stereo and listen to them meow. So my dad like literally got a whole system specifically for that segment. And then if I'm ever over there and there's a race on, he tells everybody to shut up and turns it up, and it's just a lot of meow, and which is awesome. Like, don't get me wrong, like that's cool. Crank it up. That's what it's called. Thank you, Sean. Crank it up. And then the guy goes boogity, 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 boogity. Like legitimately, he says that, right? And at first I thought it was a bit, but I guess that's a thing. Boogity, boogity, boogity. I want to be into it, man. Travis, welcome in, Travis. You're on with Carmichael Dave and Christopher Log. Good morning, Travis. Kelsey, Travis.
I'd say one of the most.
Go ahead, Travis. Sorry. Yeah, I got you now. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, I was just touching on the All-Star and how it really could be so much better. I mean, I'd say one of the most exciting points of the game of the whole weekend was that one-on-one sequence between Kyrie and Wemby, and he missed the layup. I think to solve everything, a one-on-one tournament would really bring back the whole All-Star. It would make a lot more people into it, and it just doesn't make any sense how we haven't gone that route yet. That's all I got.
No, I remember that. Dude, Kyrie worked Wembanyama. That was insane. And then he missed. It was so, I mean, he absolutely shook Victor Wembanyama and he missed. And I don't, hey, I'm with you on the one-on-one thing. That would be actually a kind of fun tournament to do. I just don't know, again, I'm not I'm not immune to that. I'm not immune to trying that for sure. In the chat, get your son on a dirt bike. No. How about no? I'm not getting my son on a dirt bike. No. I put my son on an electric bike last summer in Austria, and he went head over. You don't want to get my son on a dirt bike? I'm sure that won't end poorly at all at any point. Dwayne says it's all preference. Hit a ball, walk after it, hit it again. I'm going to watch that on TV. You're 100% correct. You're talking about golf, I assume. You're 100% correct. I cannot rationalize why I enjoy golf when you're hitting a stationary ball, walking to the ball, and hitting it again, and then changing clubs and putting it into a hole. I cannot rationalize why I throw that on, and it just is comforting to me, and I enjoy the pressure and the competition. But I look at dudes in cars going 200 miles an hour trying not to die, and I'm just like, great. More turn. I admittedly have no logical response to what you're saying. I don't, other than I really enjoy watching golf. I really enjoy watching soccer, in which you may not even get a goal, and dudes are falling all over themselves, faking injuries, rolling around, and, oh my God, like they got shot by a sniper. And then in the best of the best, you have penalty kicks, and then everybody eats orange slices. Dude, I hear you. How do I watch that, but I can't watch people on literal ice skates beating the hell out of each other, and it's allowed while they all try to put a puck in a goal, which is basically like a soccer ball, but smaller? How do I like soccer, but I go, hockey, I can't follow it. It's too fast. I don't understand it. Everything's going crazy, and then shot, goal. I don't get it, dude. I really, I have no response to you that is logical, and I completely admit it. By the way, a lot of people want me to acknowledge the Draymond Green thing, saying he said the Warriors are going to win the championship as we go to break. Here's my take on that. That's what he should say. I don't have a problem with it. Good for him. Any team that wants to, that's exactly what he should say. Yeah, we're going to win the championship. Okay. Well, what happens if they don't? Well, okay. Is it going to be worse because he said they're going to win the championship? No, that's what competitive people do. We're going to win the title. And Tom says on the chat, if there was a Sacramento hockey team, people would love it. I do admit, if there was a Sacramento hockey team, I would probably be diehard within a year. That I 100% agree with you. All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, what do I want to? Oh yeah, can we knock out this NBA, ESPN, inside the NBA thing, please? I keep getting distracted. 1-800-920-1140. We're having fun today. We've only got an hour and a half left in the program. It's flying by, and that's because of y'all. We'll be right back after this.
The only place you'll find Keegan Murray is Sacktown Sports.
Out to Keegan Murray, straight away for three, and Keegan knocks down the triple.
Hey, Sacramento, it's Keegan Murray, and you're listening to the home of Sacramento Kings, Sacktown Sports.
Your local sports leader.
These days, it feels like everyone is talking about how the American dream of homeownership has become out of reach for so many of us. Well, Rocket is trying to give us more of a chance to own our homes. They're making homeownership simpler and more accessible to more people, turning renters into owners. Rocket believes that every one of us deserves a shot at the American dream. So, are you ready? Own the dream. Visit rocket.com or call 800-4ROCKET.
Hey, Mom, I've been meaning to talk to you about some new COVID information I saw online. I read that Black folks like us with certain conditions like diabetes, heart disease, mental health conditions, or being 50 and older, like you, are at high risk.
Boy, you sound like a commercial.
I'm just saying. I know you love your ginger teas and essential oils, but remember, there are treatment options for COVID-19.
I promise if I get sick again, I'll call my doctor to ask about my options.
Visit WeTalkWeWise.com to learn more.
brought to you by Pfizer.
There's no better time than now to get yourself into a brand new Jeep because it's Jeep Adventure Days at Sacramento Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, offering the best deals in town and a selection other dealers are jealous of. Stop on by. They're just off of Business 80 across from Hagen Oaks Golf Complex. Sacramento Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram.
Hey, this is Greg Papa. Are you working through a major insurance claim? SunPoint Public Adjusters can help. SunPoint prepares, presents, and negotiates your claim with the insurance company, working only for you, making sure you get everything you're entitled to, not what just some adjuster working for an insurance company thinks you should get. Call SunPoint today at 888-247-7865 or contact us at sunpoint.us. SunPoint Public Adjusters, the gold standard in public adjusting.
License number 2N14884.
This 49er Injury Report is brought to you by Jeremy Winter, attorney at law. He cares because he's been there. After an injury-plagued 2024 season, which ended 6-11 and out of the playoffs, the 49ers will focus on getting healthy in the offseason. Running backs Christian McCaffrey, Jordan Mason, and Isaac Guerrero all suffered season-ending injuries. Left tackle Trent Williams' ankle kept him out late in the year, and Brock Purdy missed the season finale with a hurt elbow. 49ers hope to enter 2025 with a full roster back intact.
Serious accident. You deserve the law offices of Jeremy Winter. 877-637-3237. Jeremy lost his mother in a car accident and knows firsthand the pain caused by tragedy. That is why he became an attorney to fight for others who are going through a tragedy. If you've been seriously injured in an accident, you deserve more. You deserve better. You deserve Jeremy Winter. 877-637-3237.
Sacramento's premier country music festival, Country in the Park, is coming back May 16th and 17th at Cal Expo with Bailey Zimmerman, Billy Currington, Cole Wetzel, Nate Smith, and more. You'll enjoy food trucks, rock walls, and a mechanical bull, line dancing, and more. Single-day GA tickets start at $52 at CITPFest.com. Country in the Park, May 16th and 17th with the California Army National Guard. Find out more at CITPFest.com.
Coach Christie here with the winning play for you. Shop Folsom Lake Kia right now for low payments and zero down deals with approved credit. Go see my friends and upgrade your ride today or shop FolsomLakeKia.com.
Whitey here, reminding you that not all grills are created equal and every detail matters. Check out the new Napoleon Prestige and Rogue models and see the difference a Napoleon makes. Napoleon grills have features other grills can't match. They're built different, built better, built to last. Complete with a lifetime warranty and premium stainless steel, boasting absolute quality. Napoleon knows that the smallest details add up to make a big difference when curating your perfect grilling experience. Visit Green Acres Nursery today for your best selection of Napoleon grills and accessories.
Waking you up with the best in local sports.
They just make it interesting, you know?
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ros
on Sacktown Sports.
Hey, I agree with a lot of people in the chat and on the text line. Sacramento would absolutely kill it in hockey. I mean, kill it in hockey. If hockey moved here, or and it really sucks too, because I know that there were some conversations when Golden One Center was built, and it would have cost more money. But as I understand it, there were some pretty decent internal conversations as to do we build Golden One Center to be able to house hockey at some point? And they ended up not doing that. Like I guess you can't. Maybe you could do an exhibition or something, but you can't. Golden One Center couldn't be multi-use full time. In other words, right? Sorry if you hear whining in the back. Hold on. You guys heard whining in the backgrounds because Nacho, my Chewiener, insists on coming outside when I'm doing my show and then whines because she's cold, even though I set up a little space heater for her right by my feet. And I say this with love, and she can't speak English. She's too stupid to realize that the heater is on for her and to hang out at the heater. So she will walk 5 feet away from the heater and shiver uncontrollably and I put her in front of the heater and I hold her there, not to the point where it's like, burning her. And she just, as soon as I let her go, she walks away. Like, sweetheart, there is a heat source that will keep you from shivering, but all she wants to do is be, held. Anyways, so yes, I fully acknowledge not being a hockey guy, that hockey would 100% work in Sacramento. Also, I saw this during the break too. Wanted to show you because I've long suspected this, as many of you probably have too. Keegan Murray is a controversial player with some of our fan base as to how good he is and how much he brings to the table. But one thing that seems to be a thing with him, and I've said this, and I know you notice this, is how many times have we seen Keegan getting the ball on the perimeter and shooting a wide open three, especially at one of those threes that would knock the roof off the place and it clanks, right? And there's now data to back it up. Not necessarily that, but the opposite, which is there's a list here of best effective field goal percentages. And if you're effective field goal, or EFG as it's called, is basically field goal percentage factoring in 3-pointers, as opposed to a dunk or a bunny. It brings it all into, it's actually probably a more accurate way of determining field goal percentage, because obviously your field goal percentage is going to be lower if you're hitting threes and much higher if you're, for example, Domantas Sabonis, although he's shooting threes a lot this year, but most of his shots come from very close, as opposed to somebody whose percentage is going to be lower because they're shooting outside. Anyways, effective field goal percentage on very tight contested shots. That's defined as the defender being between 0 and 2 feet away from the shooter. So Keegan Murray, when somebody is basically up close on him, is shooting 69.7%. That leads the league. Rudy Gobert is second at 67.6. Keegan Murray is 2.1% better than the next best guy when being guarded close. And Keegan shoots a lot more 3-pointers than Rudy Gobert. So I think the answer here is Keegan Murray needs to be wait for somebody to come up on you, dude, and then shoot the ball. Get someone in his face. Of course, other teams have these numbers and go over it in their scouting reports. And most likely, their thing is don't guard Keegan Murray on the perimeter. Anyway, sorry. For those of you on YouTube, you can see my dog. As soon as I put her down, she's going to start whining again is the problem. So we're going to have fun with her while we talk about the NBA on TNT, which in my opinion and many others is the best studio show in all of sports and has been for a long time. The chemistry and everything associated with that show. But there's also some sort of there's this like small backlash I've heard of like, well, these guys are too hard on the players and it's ruining the game. I say poppycock. I say hogwash. Okay. Honest to God. They're so fantastic for the game. They provide fantastic insight and humor. The Shaqtin' a Fool and all that stuff is, I think it's fantastic. I think it's really good for the game. Whether you're a casual, so you're watching bloopers, basically, that's what Shaqtin' a Fool is. It's bloopers. Or you're somebody who's heavy into the game and you're getting Kenny at the big board breaking stuff down. It's something for everybody, plus their interplay. They had a big presentation, which they should have done at some other point during the broadcast and not in between games. And Kevin Hart gave them all fishing gear because they're going fishing. And, much like when teams get booted out of the playoffs, they're going to Cancun, but really they're not. They're going to ESPN next year. They worked it out, the lawsuit settlement. They're all going over to ESPN. I think Turner's still involved, weirdly enough. And yeah, I don't know. Anyways, and I started thinking about that. Like, is it going to be weird seeing them on ESPN? And I think the answer is no. I mean, other than there might be some different fonts. There might be some different things about it, but it's still going to be them. They're still going to do the same thing. Shaq just signed a new contract, $15 million a year, and I'm sure Charles gets paid more. They're going to lock Kenny up. And these guys, one of the things that I love about them is they do not care. You're not going to leverage them. They have all the leverage. You're not going to tell them what to do and what not to do, other than your basics. You're not going to control what Charles says and blah blah blah. It doesn't matter if it's TNT. It doesn't matter if it's ESPN, Disney. It's not going to happen. So the show itself and the fact that they're taking over the crew is going to be the same as it was on TNT for the most part. But here's the other part. What about next year? And I know we're a ways away from it. But is it going to be weird seeing the NBA back on NBC? And I think the answer is for some people. I really was thinking about this, and I think it's a generational thing. I think there are a lot of people in my age group that grew up with John Tesh and the NBA on NBC, and it's going to be like revisiting your youth a little bit. Okay. It's going to seem like a nice comfy blanket to you. But I would also submit, for those of you a little older than me, and I remember this as a young kid, that once upon a time, no, Camp, John Tesh was not CBS. He was NBC, dude. Sorry, chat. I remember when CBS was where it was at. Nacho, seriously, dude, I'm doing a radio show. Okay, can you relax? You came out here. It's not my fault, dude. Wait till the break. Sorry. I grew, my first viewings of the NBA that I can remember was Pat O'Brien, who had a birthday last week, throwing it to Brent Musburger, who was usually live in either LA or Boston for the finals. And that's how it was. The theme, the whole thing. Everything made sense on CBS. And then they switched to NBC, and that was weird. And then when they switched off of NBC and went to ESPN/ABC, well, I think it's just simply a generational thing. And now we've gone full circle, and maybe someday it's going to be back on CBS. I don't know. But I can tell you this much. There's a lot of people in 20 years that are going to be clamoring for it to be back on ESPN, ABC, because that's what they grew up with. So the answer, I think, is it doesn't really matter the network. It's more about how old you are and when you watch the NBA in your formative years. And that, I think, in itself is what's going to drive your opinion one way or the other. Much like your opinion of driving might go up if you had Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, and Woodland. Now, the President's Day sales event is still going on, despite the fact the President's Day was yesterday. If you've been waiting to get a new Ram Heavy Duty, right now is the time to buy. Save up to $20,000 off MSRP on remaining new 2024 Ram Heavy Duties, starting as low as $38,995. That is huge savings on heavy duties, and it's not going to last long. Some might try to call themselves the Super Ram Truck Center, but when you need to find a hard-to-find Ram Heavy Duty, Hoblet has it with over 400 new Ram trucks available. Think about 400 Ram trucks lined up together. That's what we call selection. Don't miss your chance to search, select, and save through their whole inventory at hobletdodge.com. Unbeatable prices, unbeatable selection. Nobody beats Hoblet, period. We'll take a quick break. When we return, the selfishness of LeBron James, and if we have time, A's baseball is on the way. We'll get to all that next.
You never know what you might hear when listening to a Sacramento Kings game.
Out of Keegan, going for another triple. Man, is he feeling it. Keegan, can he do it? Yes, there's number 11, Keegan Murray. Keegan steps back. He just knocked down his 12th three-pointer, a Kings franchise record. He's got 45 points.
Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with Sacktown Sports and the Sacktown Sports app.
On Wednesday, March 5th, Sacramento is where the best wrestle as All Elite Wrestling presents Dynamite and Collision. Two of professional wrestling's biggest shows all in one night. Be there live as AEW returns to Sacramento for the first time in 2 years for the final two shows before AEW Revolution.
Let's get down to business.
AEW Dynamite and Collision from Sacramento Memorial Auditorium. Wednesday, March 5th. Tickets on sale now starting at $20 at AEWTIX.com.
You know, when it's all on the line, you need a big-time closer, and that's especially true when it comes to your garage door. And that's why I recommend National Garage Door, 638-4554. Whitey Gleason here for National Garage Door. Whether you're looking to repair an existing door or get a brand new one installed, you need National Garage Door. Family-owned and operated. They've been around since 1974 because service is their number one priority. National Garage Door are the region's BSE, it's broken spring experts. Styles, prices, and quality of the new doors will amaze you. Our garage door was starting to sound kind of, and that's not good. So Kevin from National Garage Door came out. He said patching up the old one was an option, but we're getting a new garage door. We're pretty happy about that. National Garage Door sells quality Rainer branded garage doors. They offer sales, service, and installation on all residential and commercial doors and operators. If you have garage door needs, old ones coming apart, or you're looking to improve your curb appeal, let National Garage Door come through for you in the clutch and be your closer. 638-4554, National Garage Door.
It's a myth to think you don't play golf well enough to get fitted for golf clubs. The professionals at the Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio would argue that playing the game with golf clubs properly fitted to your body and swing characteristics is the best way to improve your game and have more fun on the golf course. With a professional staff of fitters, all the major brands of equipment, and cutting-edge technology featuring TrackMan, the indoor-outdoor Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio is worth a look. See for yourself. Fulton Avenue at the Cap City Freeway. Schedule your fitting at 916-808-2531. 808-2531.
What's hot and what's not. Brought to you by American Energy Heat and Air. Making the uncomfortable comfortable. Head to AmericanEnergyAir.com to find out more.
What's hot?
Yeah, hot. Real hot. And what's not?
It's not good. Brought to you by American Energy Heating and Air, Sacramento's complete heating and cooling company, and second opinion partner.
Who is hot? Who's hot, Christopher?
You're asking me that today of all days?
I mean, I thought it's a Tuesday, maybe, and why not? Because it was a long weekend, no Kings games. We got to figure it out. Who is hot?
That would be Ederson Santana de Moraes.
What?
Of Manchester City, goalkeeper.
Oh, yeah.
He just recorded his 6th assist for his career as a goalkeeper. That's the most in English Premier League history.
More importantly, Chris, and I know everybody wants the answer here, Huddersfield Town in a rescheduled match against Shrewsbury away at Shrewsbury.
The Shrewsberries taste like Shrewsberries.
That's happening in just under 3 hours from whatever ground they're called. How do you see this one turning out? Any keys to the game match?
I think Huddersfield just needs to keep doing what they're doing, keep trucking.
Yeah.
As they like to say.
Yeah. Yes, they do. They love saying keep trucking.
Keep on trucking, boys. Let's get some more fireworks at the grounds.
Keep on rocking in the free world. We want fireworks. We want plastic clappers. We want thunder sticks and more. All right. Manchester City guy is hot.
Oh, they also have a midweek game too. Probably comparable to Shrewsbury. They're actually playing Real Madrid tomorrow.
Well, let's see. Shrewsbury, if the season ended today, would be relegated out of League One. Real Madrid, slightly better at a slightly different level.
Some people say that.
Who is not?
We're just going to go with the Washington Wizards. Worst team in the league, 9-45. They've only lost their last 4 in a row, though. So,
yeah, they're not great. And I don't even know. I don't think they're one of those not great teams that has a plan. I just
And they're like, they made more moves than Sacramento did.
they really did. And I look at what they're doing and I go, God, I don't really see, like, the Pelicans are the second worst team in the NBA. I see the plan there. I see the plan with the Jazz. And they've got Danny Ainge. They're the third worst team. The Hornets, they're in a weird spot, man. They have a true star in LaMelo Ball. Miles Bridges is a good player. I don't know what the hell else is going on. Toronto, I see the plan. I just don't see it with Washington, dude. You know what? Let me bring this up. Nobody expected us to do Washington Wizards talk here, but let me just bring up their salary situation here. Washington is 17th. They're actually mid-level when it comes to their salary situation. Let's see. Chris Middleton has a $33 million player option next year. He's almost certainly taking that. Jordan Poole is signed to 32 and 34 million the next 2 years. Marcus Smart's making 21.5 million next year. And then it gets a little better. Rashawn Holmes, 13 million. Corey Kispert almost triples his rookie salary up to 13 million next year. What do they even have of value? Like, you could probably move Marcus Smart. They just got him. You could probably move him. What a crap year. Can you imagine being the Wizards and the Hawks and you pick this year to get that? I mean, Maurice Shea and Sarr might end up being good, but it's not like Alex Sarr is killing it out there. I don't know. I mean, they do have CD Sissoko. That's good, but Carlton Carrington, I thought, was a guy on an NBC sitcom. I don't know what the plan is in Washington, dude. I really don't. I don't really feel bad for those fans, but let's talk about LeBron James. I usually got the dude's back in most cases, or in a lot of cases. I think some of the vitriol towards him is a little overboard. Same with his son, but whatever. That aside, I only say that because I'm not a LeBron James hater. That is for sure. But dude, the whole thing with him just saying day of, he's dealing with a couple of knocks and bruises, basically, so he's not going to play in the All-Star game, just kind of underscores the whole issue. LeBron James is still the biggest draw in the league. It would be like, if Tiger Woods, the day of a tournament, said, yeah, I'm not playing. And great. You still have an entire field and the tournament's going to go on, but there's a lot of people that came specifically or were going to come specifically to see Tiger Woods. Maybe they flew, they got hotel rooms. No, that's not the case with LeBron. People were already going to be there. But it also pisses me off because sure would have been nice to have Domantas Sabonis there. Sure. And by the way, even if it wasn't Sabonis, I'm sure there's another NBA player that would have enjoyed being there, that LeBron could have very quietly. And here's the other thing I'd said at the beginning of the show. I would not be surprised if the NBA asked him to keep it quiet. I get that. But then very quietly let's just use Domas as an example. Very quietly say, hey, dude, got a feeling you're going to be able to play. So why don't you figure out your way down? Oh, and by the way, there's like a 98% chance Domantas Sabonis is in Napa. So that's like an hour from the gym. Dude, he's already there. It's not like you have to fly him in from Philly. Hey, Domas, you're going to want to show up. We got a jersey and everything for you. We'll make it worth your while. Wink, wink. Oh, LeBron can't play. Okay, Sabonis is in. Now, granted, 99% of the country is going to be disappointed that Sabonis is playing for LeBron James. I love Domas. He's amazing. He's not really the guy that you want to see showcased at an all-star game. He doesn't have the super exciting game. What are you going to see? Like awesome passes, him shooting a slow motion three. Like he just does him getting 20 rebounds. These are not all-star game exhibition type things. He's just a dude that plays the game well. But it sure would have meant a lot to him. And it's sad when you see the Kings frozen out of All-Star weekend. It is, because it's almost like, yeah, they're just one of the teams that doesn't count. Everyone else is there glitzing and glamoring and all that. Vivek's got a party going on. They're doing the best they can, but they're frozen out. This doesn't help when it's free agent time. This doesn't help when you're trying to get agents to assist in trades. There are real, actual effects to not having guys in the All-Star game. They're just very, very difficult to quantify. And it sucks on LeBron's part. Like, dude, at the very least, did it ever occur to you? Did it ever occur to you that could mean the world to somebody else? I understand you've played in like 37 All-Star games. That's fine. Somebody else hasn't played, or maybe has played in one or two. I don't know. I just thought that was Bush. That was Bush from LeBron. That was Bush from the NBA. And also, it doesn't really do much for the fans that you're trying to win over. You know what I mean? It doesn't really do much for them. They're going to feel a little swindled, a little disappointed. Anthony Edwards also out. I mean, look, he said he was sick. If you're sick, you're sick. I'm going to take the dude at his word only because I have no proof otherwise, and I tend to like people, but who knows? I can't. I have a very difficult time thinking Anthony Edwards faked his way out of the All-Star game.
That's his type of game.
That's what I'm saying, dude. He is an all-star. Unlike Sabonis, this dude is the type you want in all-star games, and I think he feels the same way. And he's young enough to where it still matters a ton. It's a chance to have fun, to showcase his game and his personality on a public stage. I would be really shocked if he was not legitimately like, dude, I can't go and I'm sick over it. I believe that a lot more than I believe the whole LeBron thing. We'll take a break. When we come back, top of the hour. Hey, we haven't checked in on this in a while. A's baseball is just over 5 weeks away. Pitchers and catchers have reported. We got a whole month of spring training. Where are you on this? And will it, as this becomes kind of a reality, will this make you watch more baseball if you're a fence sitter, not really a baseball guy or gal? We'll talk about all of that next.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sacktown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Sacktown Sports app.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small, loud or quiet. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love, guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay, things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Hurry in and save big during Honda's President's Day sales event at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Hurry in and save on our best selection of new Hondas. Each is priced to sell now. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop for great pricing on a giant selection of new CRVs, HRVs, Civics, and Accords with low finance and lease options. Plus, get an instant cash offer for your trade. Get to Folsom Lake Honda or go to FolsomLakeHonda.com.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
My friends swim no matter the season, but my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can sometimes take me out of the moment. Now, thanks to Skyrizi and clear skin, count me in. With Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. 3 out of 4 people achieve 90% clear skin at 4 months.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor today about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis, and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest, the last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it.
And now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying, just beautiful.
Whatever you love, find it on eBay. eBay, things people love.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer? Can we sleep cooler? Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. And now save 50% on the new Sleep Number limited edition smart bed. Limited time. Exclusively at a Sleep Number store near you. Learn more at sleepnumber.com.
The huge President's Day sale is on at Maida Chevy, Sacramento's Silverado headquarters. Save $10,250 off MSRP after rebates on new half-ton Silverado LT after rebates with over 50 in stock. And Maida Chevy has one of the largest selections in the Sacramento area. $10,250 off new 2025 Silverado at Maida Chevy. Now that's big, huge. See them all at MaidaChevy.com. Together, let's drive.
I'm George Washington, and I approved this message. Not available with special financing, leasing, some other offers. 5 to the Southern Mustang 2011 or newer Chevrolet.
Your local sports leader in the 916.
KHD 1 Sacramento. KYMX HD3 Sacramento.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios. Sacktown Sports 1140. The Carmichael Dave Show.
He's on the microphone when he's not on the microphone. He's playing a song, and when he's not playing a song, he's on the microphone, and then boom.
With Jason Ros.
No, he didn't. Yes, he did.
Call or text at 916-339-1140.
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ros on Sacktown Sports.
Yep. I see Paul Riddle in the chat. Condescending Dave is what I hear every time Dave talks racing. Condescension is the last thing you're going to hear out of me, Paul, and you spelled condescending wrong.
The we go for a beer and watch cars wasn't condescending.
Let me ask you a question. Was there a lie in there?
I'm not saying, hey, condescending to people can be truthful.
I mean, you can take it as condescending. I say, find the lie. You tell me they're not going for beer and racing. I mean, dude, I'm condescending to my own family. Like, let's relax. I'm not looking down. I'm just looking over in the NASCAR boat.
I will say this. It sounded like you were being condescending, but at the same time, I don't think that you were making fun of anybody that likes racing.
No, I'll do that off the air. That's fine. You want to you and somebody says, is it just NASCAR? Is it all car racing? It's all, there's no car racing I enjoy. Like I keep needing to take Henry Turner up on his, and Henry Turner's really into RC cars, remote cars. And he's been asking me for years to come out to the track, and that would be fun. But that's a whole different thing.
What about those marble races that were big during COVID?
Marble?
You didn't see those?
No. Marble races.
Yeah.
Or maybe I did, I don't remember. I would love to get into it, man. I've tried. Anyone, I guarantee you, Paul knows. I've had this guy, Paul's listened forever. I have this conversation every year, right around Daytona. I don't get it, but guess what? You don't need me to get it. And there's a real nice guy on my Twitter that keeps inviting me out to where is it? Roseville. I guess there's a track out there. There's Brandon says go to Laguna Seca. If I was gonna go, I mean, I don't know.
NASCAR people, if they made it to where Dave liked it, you probably wouldn't like it anymore.
That's a great point, Chris. Nobody, and I get that feeling about NASCAR fans, and good for them. Like, it's like when UFC was more fringe, MMA was fringe, and I was having MMA guys and Dana White on the show every week, and the biggest names in the sport went back when they cared, back when they were accessible. And
back when they weren't literally just printing money.
100% when they had to work for it. And it's actually kind of funny. You see the evolution of the UFC and the biggest stars. You know, that kind of ties into the NBA conversation we were having a while. You know, how NASCAR and hockey and WWE, those guys get it. UFC has completely changed. It's the money. Of course, it's the money. If Conor McGregor existed in the early 2000s, when I was doing the night show, we would have had Conor McGregor on every week. We would have had his cell number. We would have called him up. It's like with Dana White. Like Dana would just randomly call into the show and we'd talk for an hour. Some of you guys remember that. We just put him on. We'd sit there and BS the whole time. Now you got to go through 19. I won't even do it. I absolutely refuse to go through 700 levels. No disrespect to Dana, but it's just like, wow, we should get, it kind of pisses me off. Like we should get some sort of like lifetime pass of access to Dana White, because we were there back when, you know, the late John McCain was saying it's backroom cockfighting. And he turned around eventually, by the way. The thing with NASCAR is I guess on one hand, you want to be an evangelist for your sport. I get it. I do. And I was that way with UFC. Oh man, you got to come to a fight. You got to watch. It's amazing. Chris, I used to do that with you. But then ultimately it's like, who cares?
This wasn't that good of a card. Oh, you got to come to the next one. That wasn't that good of a card. Oh, this one wasn't that good of a card, but the next one should be. I thought this one was going to be a good card, but it wasn't a good card.
Not my fault. And you ended up.
I think I finally said, like, dude, I've come here 8 times. Like, this isn't for me.
Yeah, but
and you're like, you said, like, okay, you put in the effort. Thank you. This isn't for you. That's fine.
Wait, you're right. I respect it. It's like, my parents were always like, you don't have to like a food, but you have to try it. And then once I tried it, if I gave it a legit try, okay. The same thing. You tried the UFC. It wasn't your thing. That's fine. It's the same thing. I've tried. We had, who is the guy that really tried to get me into indie racing? He was Brazil. Tony Kanaan. Some of you might remember Tony. I know this is super random, but Tony came on the night show because he was racing over in Vallejo at whatever that track is. And they had him come on, and we really ended up hitting it off. He's a great guy. We hit it off. He actually told me if I went out there, I could drive his Ferrari. Like, it was a fun interview. And then he ended up coming on the show a few times. And I actually started following Tony Kanaan just because of that connection. Like, okay, I'm rooting for this dude. But I never was able to bridge the gap between like, oh, this is my friend driving, I'm rooting for him, and I'm legitimately into this sport. Like, don't get me wrong, it didn't hurt at all me getting into UFC that Uriah Faber's career and my entrance into radio pretty much mirrored each other. When I first started getting into the sport, Uriah was fighting at like, random casino park, like literally a casino parking lot. And we'd drive out there and all go there and listen to people that, people show up and get drunk. I remember there's this one of Uriah's cornermen was a long gray-haired ponytail dude with a long beard. And Faber goes back to his corner and some dude behind us stands up and goes, "Ice him up, Gandalf." We laughed. We thought it was great. That was the world. Yes, Gary Gerald is a racing lifer. G-Man has talked to me about racing before, but you know what? He gets it. It's his thing. He's into it. He doesn't need Carmichael Dave to like racing. Couldn't care less. G-Man is racing. Anyways, baseball is another sport I've kind of fallen out of favor with over the last couple years. A lot of reasons for that. The my team stinks. But even beyond that, I was a baseball fan most of my life with the Giants sucking. You newfangled kids, you remember the Giants from, all their championships in the 2010s. Yeah. I was a Giants fan in the mid 80s with Chili Davis and 103 losses and Will Clark and all of that. And more often than not, you had the West title in 87. You had the Bay Bridge in 89. You had the Barry Bonds years and Russ Ortiz being pulled by Dusty Baker against the Angels. But for the most part, the Giants were not that great of a team and did not win their first title in my lifetime until 2010. So it's not like I need the Giants to be a baseball fan. I was just as much a baseball fan, if not more, when they sucked. I don't know what it is, if it's just my attention span has shrunk. There's 162 baseball games, and I just can't get up for them. I dread the fact, maybe it's the job, that we're going to be sitting here in July going over literal baseball games that could not matter less. I mean, this is the horizon that I'm looking at right now, is we're going to have a summer with no football and no basketball and no Olympics, and the A's are going to be playing here, and they're probably going to be at best an average team. I hope I'm wrong. And we're going to be going over, what Shea Langoliers did in Game 73, and let's discuss it. And we'll try to do our best by bringing on the Ken Koraks of the world. And obviously, we'll have coverage for you. I don't think we're going to be having the games on. I don't know if that's official or public or whatever. I want to say they announced where they were going last week, but yeah, it ain't going to be here. But that being said, all of that aside, and I've been very public about how I feel about the A's coming here and leaving Oakland, and I hate the relocation, and I hate the fact that we're in bed with John Fisher, and I sports hate John Fisher so passionately. I don't want any part of him, but Major League Baseball is in Sacramento, and it starts in 5 weeks. And you're going to have real, actual baseball here. And I imagine that's going to create a buzz. I imagine, based on how tickets are being sold and for the amount of money they're being sold for and the demand for them, that it's going to be a big deal. I imagine that at some point in March, when the Athletics, can't call them Sacramento Athletics, look it up in the standings, it's just Athletics. When the Athletics first pitch against the Chicago Cubs goes down, it's going to be a big deal. We'll cover it. Like we're kind of toying with the idea of hitting up spring training in a month. We're going to cover it with no snark because it's Sacramento.
Maybe a little snark.
Well, it's some snark. Oh, you're rooting for them. I think it'd be amazing. I hope the A's win the World Series. All 4 years they're here. But it's also going to be it has the potential to be an incredibly unique experience because, and maybe you could say Oklahoma City had a little bit of this during Katrina when they got a team for a couple years. But it's just going to be so weird knowing that we're rooting for and covering a team that is basically using Sacramento as a preseason camp for Las Vegas. And while I want them to do well, and I'd love for them to win a title, or hell, even make the playoffs, provided they play their playoff games here, which is not a guarantee. There's a whole different side of this when we get to year 3 and or year 4. And you're going to have kids that went to their first A's game in Sacramento when they were 6 or 7. And then they have to say goodbye to their team when they're 10 or 11. They're going to almost have to go through, even though it was predicted and known, they're going to have to go through, like, we're literally voluntarily walking into a relocation.
Daddy, why is the team not here anymore, Daddy?
Daddy?
I imagine that's the type of kids that will be able to.
Why are they going to sound like British hierarchy?
Daddy, why aren't we having the team here anymore, Daddy?
They all go to Exeter or hang out at Willy Wonka's chocolate factory with their golden ticket. Yeah, it's yes, they're going to roll in. We're voluntarily.
I want another foam finger, Daddy.
And all this athletics local gear or whatever is going to become collector's items. And then we're going to tell stories of remember when the A's were in Sacramento. And I know that there are some people saying, well, what if it's a tryout? What if we end up getting, no, you're not getting, it's not happening. The Giants are not going to voluntarily approve. They just got rid of the A's out of Northern California. You gonna turn around and get them to approve them staying, and we don't have the money, and we don't have the stadium, and John Fisher hasn't sold. But look, all of that crap aside, we're still going to cover them and have fun, and yeah, and I'll get excited. I will. I'm excited for the city. I really truly am. We'll take a break. When we come back, let's where do we want to get here? We got a lot of stuff. We'll get to the Kings in a little bit. Let's see. NBA and hockey all-star games. We could do that. Kings, we could do that. And I want to get some NFL notes as well, including some Raiders news. Let's get to a bunch of that stuff. Don't go away. We'll be right back after this.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sacktown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Sacktown Sports app.
Jerry and Kenny here from Bell Brothers. And if you've even thought of replacing your old, outdated, inefficient windows, now is the time to take action.
Right now at Bell Brothers, when you buy one window, you'll get the second one for 30% off. That's right. Buy one, get the second one 30% off.
That's real savings, up to $6,000. You have to buy at least 4 windows to qualify, and you can't mix windows and doors. But beyond that, every second window is 30% off.
For example, when you buy 10 windows, you will get 5 windows at 30% off. We also have 0% interest financing available for qualified buyers. Call for details.
To take advantage of our buy one, get one 30% off sale, call Bell Brothers now at 916-444-1234 or find us online at theNoSurpriseGuys.com.
The No Surprise Guys, Bell Brothers.
In the morning to get your sports fix.
Live and local.
The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ros.
All right, so let's clean up and put a lot on this all-star stuff. The Pro Bowl is the NFL's version of an all-star game, and it's the worst. You have the best sport or the most popular sport in the United States by a long shot, and it has the worst exhibition. And nobody cares. You're not hearing people freaking out about they bitch about the Pro Bowl and how boring it is. Hell, it's not even in Hawaii anymore. But nobody cares because football's football. And I don't know of any way to fix it other than get rid of the game entirely. You're never going to get a football game where people are actually playing and hitting each other and care. It's just never going to happen. The risk of injury is way too great. And the only way I could ever see there ever being any competition is if you did something like have the Jaguars playing whoever the national champions were in college football. Again, the pros versus the young up and comers, and then you'd have that answer as to how would the national championship team do against the worst team in the NFL? And the answer is they probably lose by 30 points. So you have that. Baseball all-star game is the closest we have to an actual competitive game. They do as best as I think they can. It's an exhibition. The home run derby is great. It's the baseball version of a slam dunk contest. It is what it is. Basketball all-star game, I think they're on to something, as I said earlier, but you got to borrow from what hockey's doing. I'm not a hockey guy, but I acknowledge that hockey all-star game is awesome. Their format, they figured it out. The four countries going at it. Everyone's into it. USA is going to play Canada in a rematch of that fight where a hockey game broke out on Thursday. I'm watching. I haven't watched a hockey game all year. I'm going to watch that thing I'm going to be excited. I'm going to plan food around that hockey game, and I'm going to watch it. I'm going to be into it. And then I'm going to go back to probably not watching hockey until the Olympics or the Stanley Cup Finals. The hockey has figured out a way to harness that thing that the Olympics do, where you don't care about swimming until the Olympics, and then you're all over it, and then you don't watch swimming for 4 years. Same thing with gymnastics, same thing with most Olympic sports. So can basketball do that? That's the question. Can basketball figure that out? Can basketball, it's an international enough game, and I keep hearing people say more and more and more, it's USA, go USA versus the world. Yeah, I don't disagree with that. I really don't, because here's the thing. If it's one thing if you have NBA players lollygagging their way through an all-star game, okay, fine. But if it's USA versus the world, now all of a sudden all these countries are going to get into it. It's not about basketball. It's about proving you're the best country in the world, because if you're the best at basketball, you're the best country in the world, of course. And now all of a sudden, if you see a player lollygagging it and they've got the American flag on them or whatever their home country is, if they're on the internationals, now all of a sudden you're insulting your entire country, and you can't do that. So you gotta compete. I think the all-star game in basketball is very, very close to cracking a code. I don't think it's ever going to be what it was, because whatever, that's just how it is. But I do think they're close with this format they had, where you have the young kids versus the OGs and et cetera, et cetera. I honestly do. Somebody suggested some sort of battle of the sexes where you integrate the WNBA. Look, I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I don't know, in a legitimate competitive game, I don't know that it wouldn't do more damage to the WNBA to have them share the floor. I know you've done that before in like the what was it? What did they call it? Where you used to have like Sacramento and we'd have like Tisha and Chris Webber and Peja playing. Like, those are cool. I'm talking about
a skills competition.
Well, was it skills? I thought it wasn't an actual game. God, I don't remember. I want to say it was in the early 2000s.
I thought it was a skills competition.
You might be right. I don't know how in a full 5-on-5 you'd integrate players from both leagues. I just don't know how you do it. And I wouldn't want to see anything damaging. And I'm not trying to disrespect the women's game at all. I'm trying to respect it. I wouldn't want to see, WNBA player X going up for a layup and just it getting thrown into the fifth row 12 times. And then now you're going to get all the ding dongs saying women's sports are stupid, blah, blah. I just don't know if it would be a positive thing. I could be wrong. I do like the idea, and we talked about this earlier, of integrating the 3-point contest. I think that's a fantastic idea. And why not have them shoot from their native 3-point lines? Have the men shoot from the NBA, have the women shoot from the WNBA. Why not? You do that in golf. You have a ladies' tee, you have a men's tee. You do that in tennis. You have 3 sets for the ladies and 5 for the men. That's fine. Why not do that? I think that'd be fun. Anything to get more egos, anything to get more eyes on the game. Who cares? Do it. Who flipping cares? Don't do it. Bonta the Young says, yeah, because women can't shoot a jumper. What is even dude talking about? Women can. I'm not getting it. If you don't understand what I'm saying,
don't even bother.
Yeah, you're right. I can't. It's going to sound like I'm hating on the women's game, and I'm not. It's quite the opposite. Kevin says it was skills. Current NBA, current WNBA, and a legend. Who is our legend? Was it like Mitch? No, he was still playing. No, I'm trying to think back.
It might have been Mitch.
Was it? Because I specifically remember, wasn't it like Yolanda Griffith or Ruthie, Chris Webber, and somebody. And didn't we win one or come in second? I can't remember. I know that happened, dude. I have way too much stuff in my brain. I know that happened. From the 530 dunk contest, NBA versus the amateur dunkers. I don't hate that. I wonder if the NBA is walking into a trap there. If you're an amateur dunker and all you're doing all year is dunking and that is your one skill. I mean, Mac McClung, no disrespect, is a borderline amateur dunker. He's a two-way player. His entire thing is the dunk contest. And good for him, and it should be too. Ruthie and Peja won the 2-ball contest. Thank you, John. I appreciate that. Let's take a quick break. We still got a lot to cover. When we come back, we got celebrity birthdays and what to watch coming up at 9:43. Let's get to NFL notes, and then if we have time, we'll look ahead at the Kings' upcoming schedule as they are back in action on Friday. What a long break for them, though, in the big scheme of things. We'll do all that right after this.
Keegan Murray plays here.
Keegan scores another three-pointer. Keegan Murray knocking it down for 23 points. Matched De'Aaron Fox for game-scoring honors.
Sacktown Sports is your proud home of the Sacramento Kings.
This 49er injury report is brought to you by Jeremy Winter, attorney at law. He cares because he's been there. After an injury-plagued 2024 season, which ended 6-11 and out of the playoffs, the 49ers will focus on getting healthy in the offseason. Running backs Christian McCaffrey, Jordan Mason, and Isaac Guerrero all suffered season-ending injuries. Left tackle Trent Williams' ankle kept him out late in the year, and Brock Purdy missed the season finale with a hurt elbow. 49ers hope to enter 2025 with a full roster back intact.
Serious accident. You deserve the law offices of Jeremy Winter. 877-637-3237. Jeremy lost his mother in a car accident and knows firsthand the pain caused by tragedy. That is why he became an attorney to fight for others who are going through a tragedy. If you've been seriously injured in an accident, you deserve more. You deserve better. You deserve Jeremy Winter. 877-637-3237.
If you're 55 and up, T-Mobile has plans built just for you. 2 lines of unlimited for just $30 a line. That's a 45% savings compared to Verizon and AT&T. But don't just take our word for it.
It's not just the savings that are great with our T-Mobile plan. There's all this value from all these other things that T-Mobile offers. T-Mobile has been such a savings for us.
We love it.
Switch today and get 2 free 5G phones like the Motorola Edge with Turbo Power charging that gives you power for the day in just 15 minutes. And customers 55 and up can get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for only $30 a line. Go to T-Mobile.com/choice55 to learn more. With AutoPay plus taxes and fees, plus $5 per line without AutoPay. Debit or bank account required. 45% off 2 lines versus AT&T Starter and Verizon Welcome. Plan benefits vary. Motorola Edge on us with 24 monthly bill credits and new line for well-qualified customers, plus tax and $35 per line connection charge. See details at T-Mobile.com. Motorola Edge requires 68-watt charger. Charger sold separately. Actual performance will vary based on usage and configuration.
You know, when it's all on the line, you need a big-time closer, and that's especially true when it comes to your garage door. And that's why I recommend National Garage Door, 638-4554. Whitey Gleason here for National Garage Door. Whether you're looking to repair an existing door or get a brand new one installed, you need National Garage Door. Family-owned and operated. They've been around since 1974 because service is their number one priority. National Garage Door are the region's BSE. It's broken spring experts. Styles, prices, and quality of the new doors will amaze you. Our garage door was starting to sound kind of, and that's not good. So Kevin from National Garage Door came out. He said patching up the old one was an option, but we're getting a new garage door. We're pretty happy about that. National Garage Door sells quality Rainer branded garage doors. They offer sales, service, and installation on all residential and commercial doors and operators. If you have garage door needs, old ones coming apart, or you're looking to improve your curb appeal, let National Garage Door come through for you in the clutch and be your closer. 638-4554, National Garage Door.
High voltage live boxing action returns to the venue on March 8th as Uppercut Promotions presents Thunder Showdown 2. With 8 big fights, it's a night of great boxing action you won't want to miss. Thunder Showdown 2, coming March 8th to the venue at Thunder Valley Casino Resorts. Fight card subject to change.
Coach Doug Christie here for your truck headquarters, reminding you that every deal at Folsom Lake Ford is a slam dunk. Shop all your favorite models on sale now, including America's best-selling truck for over 47 years, Ford F-Series, plus a huge selection of Broncos, Bronco Sports, and all of Ford's award-winning SUVs. at FolsomLakeFord.com. Listen, I know a great play when I see one. And if you want to save on a new Ford, you got to drive the lane straight to Folsom Lake Ford in the Folsom Auto Mall. Right now, buy any new Ford with zero down on approval of credit. Save big with low interest financing, and Folsom Lake Ford always pays top dollar for your trade. So hurry to Folsom Lake Ford, a 6-time Triple Crown winner for sales and service excellence. That's why they're my trusted dealer, and they should be yours too. Tell them Coach Doug Christie sent you, or shop them online at FolsomLakeFord.com.
Carmichael Dave.
He has very good sources, and he just kind of tells it as it is and gets to the point.
Jason Ros.
He has a lot of pretty smart things to say. He's good at what he does.
On Sacktown Sports.
Final half hour of the program. Jason Ros returns tomorrow. We appreciate you for joining us throughout the day. NFL, Champ Kelly is out, not Chip. Champ Kelly out as the Raiders assistant GM. Is on Spytech, their new GM, is making moves, and that's no real big surprise there. Probably wants the front office in his image, if you will. One thing that is gathering buzz in NFL circles, we talked a little bit last week about Aaron Rodgers not going back to the Jets. Would that be an option for the Raiders? The Raiders are in a very interesting position with their pick. It is obvious it's a top 10 pick, but it's not a top 2 pick. And they just went through last year watching all the quarterbacks that they wanted go off the board right before it was their turn. And they ended up having a pretty decent draft, pulling a superstar out of the mix in Brock Bowers. Now you have Pete Carroll, you have a new GM, you have Tom Brady doing a lot of the show, running a lot of the show over there. You now hear a lot of names around the NFL, from Albert Breer to Adam Schefter and beyond. Mike Florio that are all linking the Raiders to making a run for Minnesota Sam Darnold, who will reportedly not be franchise tagged. He still might return to the Vikings, but the Vikings have the injured JJ McCarthy that they want to get on the field, that they spent a lot of draft capital getting involved in. And the Raiders have a very interesting 2 roads in front of them. One is you bring in the win now guy, sign him to a nice deal. It sounds like Darnold will get somewhere around $40 million per year. Or do you draft the young guy, or do you do both? I guess it's 3 roads. I think what this allows the Raiders to do is just let the draft play out. And if you see a Cam Ward or a Shedeur Sanders, and you feel like those 2 are franchise-changing quarterbacks, if you see one of them slip down to 6, you grab them, maybe, and that's your guy, and then you build that way. But that way, if you don't have to expend draft capital necessarily in trading up. And it allows you to, I see a lot of people connecting them to Ashton Jonty of Boise State, who is almost certainly going to be a phenomenal NFL pick. I just don't know. Not a huge fan of drafting running backs that early. Saquon Barkley was drafted early. He worked out. You got Atlanta still figuring out if it made sense for them to draft Bijan Robinson that early. It's really hit or miss. If I'm the Raiders, I'm either drafting lines, drafting edges, or I'm even better. I think for me, if I'm the Raiders, I'm trading down. I'm waiting until the 5th pick goes through, and if my guy doesn't fall, the guy I gotta have, let's say you're waiting on Ward or Sanders, if both those guys are off the board by the time it's your pick, I'm lining up deals and keeping them in the queue to trade down out of the 6 and gather more draft capital this year or next year. And obviously it's going to have to be good, but so many times, guys, you see this in the NFL draft every single year. The price teams pay. Just look at the Niners and what they did to move up to 3 for Trey Lance. The price these teams will pay to move up, in some cases, 4 or 5 spots, 10 spots in the draft in the first round, can be astronomical. And I'm thinking, if I'm the new GM of the Raiders and I'm looking at my timeline, and somebody comes to me with a Godfather offer of future draft picks because they want to win now and they can make up those draft picks in the future, and I'm able to, almost Sam Presti my way through of Oklahoma City and gather some serious draft help. Not only is that going to help in the sense that you've got a lot of picks, which also means you get those good players. They're on those rookie contracts. I mean, getting a good player in the draft is so much more than just getting a good player in the draft. It's all the financial incentives and breaks that come with having that guy on the rookie deal and being able to spend money on other things. And the Raiders have a ton of salary room. They have a ton of cap room. So do you go with the quarterback you want? And again, I'm assuming it's a Ward or a Sanders. If he's not available, do you trade down, or do you just use that for a bona fide lineman or a bona fide edge, somebody that's really going to come in and make a difference? I love the idea of Sam Darnold to the Raiders, and it's a little different than the Rodgers thing. The Aaron Rodgers thing would be probably if you were getting a Shedeur Sanders or a Cam Ward and you wanted somebody there to come in for a year and tutor this guy and get them up to the NFL par. A guy like Sam Darnold he's not Patrick Mahomes. He's not a top 5 quarterback in the league, but he continues to grow and excel. And now you have Chip Kelly as your offensive coordinator, which I think on the down low might be the best move the Raiders made all offseason. The fact that you're able to get Chip Kelly as your OC, and say what you want about him as a coach, he is a gifted coordinator. And if you were to unleash Brock Bowers and Sam Darnold and maybe you bring in another piece or two, you don't need to win a Super Bowl next year. You'd love to, but that's not the road you should be down. The road you should be down is stabilize the franchise, get them to 8-9, 9-8. That should be the goal. And build a foundation to where next year you're in the playoffs and the following year you're legit competing for a Super Bowl. It can be done in 2 to 3 years if it's done correctly. And bringing in a guy like Darnold, the one deal I saw floated out there from the Raiders for him would be something like 4 years, 160, which is 40 a year, but the first 2 are guaranteed. And that gives you the option to kind of test it out and also get out of it after 2 years, which is on your timeline, without really having any cap issues for getting out of it. And people forget as well, even if Darnold's not the guy that jumps off the page at you, he's an incredibly efficient quarterback. And he's 27 years old. He's 27. That means the dude has at least a decade of prime left. This isn't an Aaron Rodgers 2-year deal. Matthew Stafford's another name that's been associated with the Raiders. Again, that would probably be a 2, maybe a 3-year deal. Sam Darnold's a guy that you could bring in and just have fun with for a couple of years, teach these guys and help them win. And I know it's easy to make this connection, but the Raiders haven't exactly had bad luck bringing in journeyman from the Vikings at quarterback. I would just point Rich Gannon out, who went on to win an MVP. I remember when the Raiders got Rich Gannon, and I'm not going to sit here and say nobody was excited. They were. Nobody thought he was going to be an MVP. If you have the right personnel around a quarterback, if you build those lines and you have a gifted offensive coordinator, and the Raiders are already a third of the way there, you can make any legit quarterback, any decent quarterback, I should say. And I think Darnold is a decent quarterback. I don't think he's a superstar, but I think he's a plus at the position. I think he's a above average quarterback. Why take a chance? You come into next year and you've got a core of Pete Carroll, Chip Kelly, Brock Bowers, Sam Darnold. And remember, we're not even including whoever they draft or whatever they do there. I'm feeling good if I'm a Raider fan. It'll be very interesting. Raiders are very much a team to watch in the offseason. As I said last week, I really like what they're doing so far. There's a lot of ways they could continue. They could screw this up. There's a lot of ways they could just make one move out of the blue or not make one move and screw it up. But right now, if I'm a Raider fan, I'm cautiously optimistic. I'm crossing my fingers. I'm hoping that they stay on this track, because right now, whoever's been making the last few decisions, Brady or whomever, they're doing it right on paper. One more thing in the NFL, 7 more women. This story continues to grow. 7 more women have come forward to accuse Ravens kicker Justin Tucker of engaging in inappropriate misconduct at high-end massage spas. This increases the total to 16 from 8 spas that have made these allegations. All the incidents reportedly occurred during sessions from 2012 to 2016, which was his first 5 seasons in the NFL. I'm not going to get into the details because they're not good out loud words, and I know that families are listening. But some of these allegations, if true, are, like not great at all, to say the least. Roger Goodell, at his news conference during Super Bowl week, said, quote, "They're obviously serious issues. He's taking them as seriously as we are." Okay. And he is obviously subject to discipline. Did not have, not that this matters, but his on-field performance last year was easily the worst of his career. It would not surprise me at Baltimore if the Ravens at some point say, "Dude, is this stuff true straight up?" He says, yeah, some or all of it is, and they cut bait. Tucker's lawyers say he has never been banned. According to reports, 2 spas have banned him. His lawyers say no. They also deny allegations of inappropriate behavior, saying it's speculative and impossible to prove. Here's all I care about. Well, obviously, I want, whatever justice there is to be done, whether it's justice for the folks that were victimized allegedly, or justice for Justin Tucker if he didn't do any of it. Common sense generally tells you if 16 separate people are coming forward about something, there's probably fire where there's smoke. At the same time, in the back of your head, lawyers like to make money. I get it. But here's what I want. Justin Tucker needs to go through the same process and be treated exactly the same as Deshaun Watson did. No different. Watson went through it. Watson had his punishments. Watson is thought of a certain way. There should be no difference. No difference for Justin Tucker whatsoever. And I don't know. My gut feeling is I'd be really surprised if this ended well for Justin Tucker. We'll take a break. When we come back, we will finish up the program, a little bit of crosstalk, celebrity birthdays, what to watch, and more. We'll do all that right after this.
Know what you might hear when listening to a Sacramento Kings game.
Out of Keegan, going for another triple. Man, is he feeling it. Keegan, can he do it? Yes, there's number 11, Keegan Murray. Keegan steps back. He just knocked down his 12th three-pointer, a Kings franchise record. He's got 45 points.
Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with Sacktown Sports and the Sacktown Sports app.
Sherry, what have you done to your hair?
What do you mean? Does it not look good?
It doesn't look good. It looks freaking amazing. I can't believe how thick and healthy it looks. Oh, I must know your secret.
No secret. It's hair volume from New Nordic.
Hair volume, huh? Well, it certainly lives up to its name. Your hair has never looked so thick. It is gorgeous.
I was so tired of having thin and brittle hair. Ugh, and the shedding. So I figured I'd give hair volume a try. Needless to say, I'm thrilled with the results. Hey, where are you going?
I'm going to pick up some hair volume right now. My reunion's next month and I want my hair to look as good as yours.
Hair Volume is the best-selling hair tablet in the world and one of many award-winning natural health products from New Nordic, the #1 supplier of dietary supplements in Scandinavia. Purchase at newnordicusa.com or your local CVS. Available as a tablet or delicious gummy. Help your hair look full, voluminous, and beautiful again at newnordicusa.com or CVS.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with the Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. And now save 50% on the new Sleep Number limited edition smart bed. Limited time. Exclusively at a Sleep Number store near you. Learn more at sleepnumber.com.
Hurry in and save big during Honda's President's Day sales event at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Hurry in and save on our best selection of new Hondas. Each is priced to sell now. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop for great pricing on a giant selection of new CRVs, HRVs, Civics, and Accords with low finance and lease options. Plus, get an instant cash offer for your trade. Get to Folsom Lake Honda or go to FolsomLakeHonda.com.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
Come check out Capital Casino, Sacramento's #1 poker room with the most variety of table games in the region in a safe and friendly environment. Plenty of well-lit parking available, conveniently located in downtown Sacramento. And remember, Capital Casino has the best food, the best service, and the best action. 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento. For more information, log on to capital-casino.com, and please gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
The sewer system. It's probably the last thing on your mind, and that's okay. Because at the Sacramento Area Sewer District, it's our first priority. As the region's largest sewer utility, we own and maintain thousands of miles of sewer pipe. And our job is to get to your sewer problem before it interrupts your life. So whether you've got a slow drain or a backup, call us first, day or night. The Sacramento Area Sewer District. It's a dirty job, but we're happy to do it.
The huge President's Day sale is on at Maida Chevy, Sacramento's Silverado headquarters.
Save $10,250 off MSRP after rebates on new half-ton Silverado LT after rebates with over 50 in stock.
And Maida Chevy has one of the largest selections in the Sacramento area.
$10,250 off new 2025 Silverado at Maida Chevy. Now that's big, huge. See them all at MaidaChevy.com. Together, let's drive.
I'm George Washington, and I approved this message. Not available with special financing, leasing, some other offers. 5 at the Southern Mustang 2011 or newer Chevrolet.
It's time for the news of the day.
The latest headlines, the biggest stories, hard-hitting analysis.
Yeah, this is none of those things.
And now, here's Carmichael Dave and Jason Ros.
No voice guy, no Jason Ros. This is Carmichael Dave. Hi, how are you? No Jason Ros is Jason. We'll be back tomorrow. Yes, Alan Stiles is here. As I see him looking confused. Oh, I know why he's looking. Oh, I can't wait to have this conversation with him. I know exactly why he's looking confused. Because here's the thing. Alan doesn't often come in on a Monday, or in this case, Tuesday after the weekend people are here, and be the first person to sit in that seat. It's generally us. So all the stuff that we have to go through as far as setting up the monitors and moving things around, because it is just a madhouse. Let me tell you, the fishing guys on the weekend, Sepp and Kent, they're partying. There's dogs, there's confetti, there's probably live fishing going on in the studio.
Could you imagine having your dog with you as you're doing the show?
Couldn't be me. And then we come in on Monday, or again, in this case, Tuesday. And it's like, oh, well, okay, this monitor is different. And it's in a, Alan, you just look.
What is this? This is the last thing. All I want to do is just come in and do the show.
Sure, yeah.
No one. I am legend here, and I gotta look. I don't know what this. It's the call screen.
Yeah. Welcome to the first day. Welcome to being the first show back after a weekend. That's every Monday. The mouse isn't working. Yeah, you gotta reset everything, dude. Everything's got to be set up, and I'm sure Kyle and or Chris will help you with all that.
Maybe,
depending on if you're a nice guy or not.
Yeah. Well.
How was your weekend?
Great. I was in the building on Sunday. I was supposed to be in San Francisco.
Oh.
I can't even look at Dave.
It's okay.
People that know me know my family would be cracking up right now because I'm very much, I like things in, not maybe a little OC. I don't like change. And now that I'm scrambling here, it's just kind of thrown me all off.
Yeah.
Maybe if you got into the studio earlier, you wouldn't be
I gotta do 4 hours by myself. I'll get here when I get here.
Oh my God. I can't believe it. Wow. Christopher Laud from the top rope. I got to use that sound effect, which probably didn't sound right.
Well, I couldn't see.
It's all right, Alan. You'll be fine. It'll work out.
I'll get over it.
Why were you here Sunday again? Sorry.
No,
he was at the All-Star game.
Yeah.
Oh, in the building. Oh, okay. All right. I got you. How was that experience, Alan?
It was cool. I wanted to be there. I had a remote at Folsom Lake. I got to drive a Hummer on Saturday, but because of that,
listen to this guy.
Well, yeah, it was just a Hummer EV. It's brand new. And there's pictures you can see. But the thing is, that kept me from going on Saturday night, which is that's the night, right? So I get there Sunday and everyone in the media is just worn down.
Yeah.
Chris and Brendan are just over it. So I was ready to go. And then, you kind of just mold to the other people. And I just started thinking about the drive back to Sacramento. And I'm thinking, yeah, it was fun. I just wish I had been there on Saturday. But the Sunday itself, the G League part, honestly, for everybody saying the setup, and I know I posted that video, the setup was kind of weird as far as the actual All-Star game is concerned. What they had set up at the Moscone Center was really awesome. They had it set up, basically they called it Moscone Park, so it was supposed to emulate kind of like a Rucker Park type deal. So you could just stand and watch the G Leaguers play, and you're pretty darn close. So that area and that center is huge. So they essentially had like a Super Bowl type setup with all the different NBA themed games and stuff for kids like that. And then you had the actual G League Rising Stars games going on too. So it was really cool. That was probably, weirdly enough, the highlight.
It sounds to me, Alan, like you're coming down the home stretch, buddy. I can hear it. I can hear it in your voice. You're married. You got a new baby. You've been in the business for a while. You're not there yet. I think maybe you have another year or two.
What do you mean?
Before you arrive at the inevitable. Yeah, I could have gone. I just, you know what? I'm
no, because I need I need the clout. I need the clout. And that's why I was mad, because there was no clout to be had on Sunday. All the clout was Saturday.
That's my point, is that right now at this stage, you need and care about the clout. What I'm saying is eventually you will not care nor need the clout. That'll be for the younger guys. You'll be fine. Dude, I used to go to every single Kings game, literally every single one. And if they were anywhere near us on the road, I'd go there. Any event ever. It was like Sean Cunningham. I was at everything. And then eventually you're just like, you know what, dude? I'm good. I get a much better view at home. I can watch the replay. I don't want to deal with being out all night. I'm tired. I'm good. You just start shriveling up a little bit in preparation for death. I'm telling you, you're close. You maybe have 2 years left of clout chasing before you retire and just say, I just don't care.
But by that point, I will have put Sacramento on the map, so it would have been worth it.
You will have put Sacramento on the map.
Yeah.
These are the things that you say that people misconstrue, and you get texts and letters. You will put Sacramento on the map.
I put Sacramento on my back.
It's very strange that people haven't warmed up to you.
Right? Yes,
they have now. They have. I can't go anywhere. I can't go anywhere in Sacramento.
I know this from being a native Sacramento.
Yeah, because you go to office spaces that serve food.
If there's anything we love to hear, it's new guys coming in and offering to put us on their back and get us on the map.
Isn't that a good thing?
No, we don't need you or your back, and we're happy with who we are.
We don't want people knowing about Sacramento. We want people to love Sacramento at the same time, not know where it's at.
That's right.
Isn't that a good thing? I talk about the toe.
No, what? No, dude. No, what? No.
You might have to leave in a second.
You actually may just get canceled. You're going to get Sacramento canceled.
You don't even know where I'm talking about.
I'm assuming you're abbreviating Sacramento.
No. See?
It's his thing for Natomas.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, God. Seriously?
You make us want it to flood.
Yeah, Chris is correct. Chris is correct. I actually hate that. Celebrity birthdays. Do your best. Who's old today?
All right, very, very quickly. Dr. Dre, it's his birthday today. How old is Dr. Dre?
63.
Whoa, really?
Yeah.
I'll say 59.
No.
Alan is closer. He's a big 6-0 today.
Wow.
Roseville's own Molly Ringwald.
Hey, Rio Americano graduate. Molly Ringwald is she's 58.
61.
She is 57 today.
Oh,
Dave gets that one. How about probably the reason why Jason is off today? Jaime Jaquez Jr.'s birthday today.
Jaime Jaquez Jr. is 24.
That sounds right.
Yeah,
but there's no way he's 23 still, right? Because he was in school for a bit. I'll say 25.
We've got a correct answer.
Mm-hmm.
And it goes to Carmichael Dave.
Thank you.
And that is it for today.
That is exactly how we want to end it. So anyways, everybody stay tuned. I know we don't have a lot of time. I'll do my best. Alan Stiles is in. Sacramentans, listen up. He's going to tell you exactly how the city can be put on the map. He's going to put you on his back and take you to the promised land. You may be a bunch of backwards dumb hicks, but Big City Alan's going to come in. No, this is my words, not yours. Big City Alan is going to come in and tell you exactly how to do things as he navigates the 50 and the 80 and hangs out in the toe. Alan Style. He puts the substance in Styles. Coming up next. Bye-bye now.
Live and local.
With everything 49ers.
Intercepted by